important like the big stars are. And I assume that, you know, if there was something that we need to know, that we would know it. But can I bank on that? So there wouldn't be like, oh my God, we need this to stop right where it is and not spread to some of the biggest names in the league. I don't know why anyone's involved. I don't know why Terry Rozier's involved with, what was he making, $24 million a year or something? I like cash too. I like, you know, you get a bunch of, it's fun. All of a sudden someone brings you 10,000 cash, but he could go to the bank and take out that. I don't really understand how it works.
Well, it's a great point, Joe. I think you're hitting the nail on the head here. We're probably at a little bit of the tip of the iceberg here in terms of the full amount of information that's going to eventually come out. I think the important point to sort of realize here, Joe, is the idea that, you know, gambling is a human problem. It's not a problem that's specific to professional basketball players. And in fact, one could make the argument that, you know, addiction is the big problem here, in the sense that why would you put your intergenerational wealth and $24 million salary at risk here to get a couple of bucks? So, you know, that's out there, and certainly that's something to be thinking about. But I think the bigger picture here, as you're pointing to, Joe, is that you have all these players. And I think what's happened in recent years is that the players themselves are brands. So people are following the players, and they understand that these are individual actors in an ecosystem. And so if there are some bad actors, if Chauncey Billups gets pulled into something, he's a phenomenal Detroit Piston icon, certainly a world champion. If he gets pulled into something, that's one independent agent that's perhaps doing something, and fans can dismiss that because they understand that there are lots of sort of parts here. And the important thing for Adam Silver to realize is that he's got to get ahead of this and basically tell the story that the league is very serious about this, validate the concerns, and talk about the plan to make sure that this gets rooted out.
Yeah, maybe we can just realize that with how much people gamble now, and the way you can gamble with, you know, instantaneous, that was never possible before. I mean, it goes back all the way to, you know, the early 1900s, obviously, with you know, what happened in baseball and everything else, and it was mob involvement back then, too. But maybe this should be expected, since, you know, you got prop bets, or you can bet on whether someone's going to hit a free throw while it's happening. So are there other sports where it's as easy to do that with, do you think, Americus? It seems like, you know, you can't really gauge whether you're going to hit a home run or not hit a home run. I mean, it's so rare. Or I guess you could flub a ground ball or something at an important time, but it just seems more difficult to do this. It seems like basketball is just set up for where it's easier to do something like this. Is that true?
You know, I think that's a fair point, Joe. And I think that, you know, I don't think any of the other professional sports are amenable to this sort of problem. The question is whether basketball, this is more potentially prevalent or easier to do in basketball, I think is an interesting point. I think the bigger point that, you know, zoom out on is to say that this is where the league can get into trouble, because they have, you know, legal betting partners that they operate with. And so, you know, you're walking that fine line between, you know, what should we tolerate here in terms of what's legal and what's not legal. Obviously, you can't tolerate illegality, but you have to sort of put your foot down and say, hey, you know, we need to root this out wherever we can. I think all sports should be doing that.
I shouldn't talk, because I mean, this was tens of millions of dollars. I bet tens of dozens of pennies on things, but I get sick to, if I'm betting $5 or something, and as I see the game not going my way, puts me in a bad mood, and it has nothing to do with, I mean, I have a parlay, I could win like $90 or something, but when it doesn't happen, I get in a bad mood. I might stop, Americus. Maybe that's do you have a DraftKings account, Americus?
I do. I do not, Joe, but I love the fact that you're a walking intervention billboard here. For those that are struggling perhaps with this, you know, it's something to take a look at, because you said...
I'm going to if I start going up where it starts becoming actual material to anything, I'll let you know. At this point, literally, it's tens of dozens of pennies, but, and I love doing it. So I don't want things to go south from here, Americus. Thank you. Maybe they won't. We'll have you back and talk more about this. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Right,
appreciate you.
You're welcome. Let's get to Becky.
Hi.
She has ventured outside into Times Square with the Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah, we have this
free candy.
Optimus robot out here. He's giving free candy out, and you know, I'm shocked he's not mobbed out here in Times Square. Hi, how Good to see you, man. Oh, high five, air five. Oh, good. High five. Boom, boom. I'm not allowed to touch, I'm told. But could I have some candy? Could I have candy? Please? Thank you, man. Woo! Thank you very much. By the way, these are gummies. I'm told there's no THC in them. But we are out here with Optimus, and we have the cyber cab. This is going to be like it's actually pretty cool. You guys need to see a side picture of this. Joe, you'll like it better. Andrew, from the side. Okay, they just put the windows down, the doors down, but it actually looks pretty cool, and I have to give a big shout out to the wheels. Those are nice rims. And the windows are really big in front, Joe, so I guess you can't see behind you. I would love to have a mirror, but there is a giant inside screen, so maybe you can see what's going on behind you from that, I would imagine. Maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway,
yeah.
Andrew, this is what's out here. You've probably already seen this in person, Andrew, I don't know, but
I've seen
this is
some
what
of
we're getting ready for with all of this. Yeah.
I'm so excited about it. But when you're talking to the robot, do you think, is the robot know everything you're saying? How's this working so far?
Do you know everything I'm saying, robot? He's shaking his head. I don't know. I'm not sure if he actually does. Okay, wait, give me an air five. Can I have an air five? Woo! Okay. Hey, give me five down low. Too slow. That's pretty good. Okay, he is playing along a little with this.
That's
Optimus,
awesome.
thank
Becky,
you. I appreciate it.
Ask him if he has explicit instructions to never harm a human being.
Oh, this is good. Yes.
That's the Isaac Asimov.
Right.
So ask him to
Would you
like
ever harm
punch
me
your arm.
or any other human? Did you just nod? Oh no. Okay. No. Thank you. That's much better. He says no. He thought about it for a second, and he said no.
I don't like his looks, to be honest with you. I don't trust him as far as I'm going to try these gummies though. But
yeah.
all right.
Oh, could I have more gummies for Joe? Could I have a second set? Could I have more gummies? Is that okay? Okay, I'll bring you your own because I'm not giving you mine.
I have some.
This is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
These are for Joe. Andrew, I'll save you a pack for later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is amazing, Becky. And we're gonna, by the way, we're gonna be talking all things Tesla this morning, from robots and robo-taxis to, yes, Elon Musk's pay package, because we've got Tesla's board chair, Robin Denholm. She's going to join us in a first on CNBC interview. It's going to happen at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time this morning as we head to a break. Check out Tesla's stock performance over the last 5 years. It's up more than 200%. Squawk Box returning in just a moment.
Market conditions can test an investment. So at Federated Hermes, we put the stocks in our MDT portfolios through a ruthless vetting process because we want them to work, come rain or come shine.
Febreze. When you host, your bathroom can feel like a revolving door. Keep things fresh with Febreze Bathroom. It's an outlet-free air freshener that fights odors for 45 days. So even after every flush, you know your bathroom smells amazing.
When it's time to start your business, it's time for Shopify. Designed with easy-to-customize themes, sell everywhere people shop, and never miss a sale with the world's best converting checkout. See why millions of businesses sell with Shopify. Start your free trial today.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can unplug for the day or plunge into a long weekend. Savor the moment or savor the details. Earn points for free nights with IHG One Rewards.
And that's why I never drive those guys.
Party's over, big guy.
We're tired of hearing, I don't want to get my truck dirty.
With WeatherTech laser-measured floor liners, front and rear, a seat protector, and full bed protection, trucks are totally covered.
You just got WeatherTech.
Yeah, buddy.
Order canceled.
Order
submitted.
American-made products at WT.com.
CNBC's
Order canceled.
returns. A live event with exclusive
Order
access
submitted.
to the world's best investors. Get your tickets now at deliveringalpha.com.
When you've got multiple parts but need just one answer,
Wait, how do these things work together?
Looks like you can just ask Google.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Everyone says I'm done with football.
He dropped it at the 1-yard line.
Dude, your face is toxic.
I'm sure it's a different quarterback with a cubic zirconia stud.
Well, it's a blood diamond. If I can't play as Russ, I'll play as someone else.
He's like extremely ugly.
He's really good.
You were born for this moment. Are you crying? Oh, God.
Still to come this morning, air travel disruptions, the government shutdown leading to thousands of flight delays, ground stops, and air traffic controller shortages. We're going to talk to former FAA Administrator Randy Babbitt about how critical the situation is for the industry. That is next. Squawk Box will be right back.
Goldman Sachs Active ETF GPIX consistently seeks to deliver monthly income without sacrificing capital growth. Active ETFs from Goldman Sachs. Not just active, relentless.
He sure knows these parts well.
Folks say the planes whisper to him.
Outlaws in 500 feet. Rerouting.
Making a left!
Innovation changes everything.
Man, he's good.
With one investment, you can access the NASDAQ 100 innovators who are rethinking the world. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
T-Mobile has the best network. That's why there's no better place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. Hold on.
Is this big enough? We should have music, lights, banners. I mean, you gotta feel it. Get the most powerful iPhone ever on the best network. I sure dance.
This is big. At T-Mobile, get the incredible new iPhone 17 Pro on us, on the best network.
No more coffee for Zoe.
Down, up, right, left, inside, out. Sometimes it's hard to make sense from nonsense. Go beyond the headlines. A trusted global perspective. The Economist. Know which way is up.
Tomorrow doesn't just happen. It's imagined, designed, built. Each line an idea. Each structure bringing us closer to what's possible. NASDAQ indexes are more than just the convergence of capital and innovation. They're the blueprint of what's next. From biotech, semiconductors, and digital assets to cloud and cybersecurity. NASDAQ indexes track the pulse of progress across global regions and industries, providing the infrastructure to architect solutions that ignite growth, unlock possibilities, and empower people everywhere to be a part of what comes next. Because tomorrow is built. One idea, one blueprint, one investment at a time.
I always wanted to teach money management, and that's why we created this club.
He teaches how to invest versus just what trades to make.
Get invested. Join the club today. Go to cnbc.com/join-Jim.
The government shutdown leading to air travel disruptions. More than 8,000 flights were delayed across the country yesterday. Air traffic control staffing issues were reported at 22 locations over the weekend. Joining us right now to discuss it is former FAA Administrator Randy Babbitt. And Randy, how dire is the situation at this point? Are Americans who are flying less safe?
It's a tough situation, and the worst part is it's self-accelerating.
Order submitted.
The more we ask people to serve more overtime, working 10, 12, 15-hour shifts, they can't keep doing that. So they have to call in, which just exacerbates the shortage.
I mean, these are people who were asking to come into work every day, but we're not paying them. These are people who get paid, I think, on a monthly basis. Most government workers do. They're going to miss their first full paycheck come this Friday. What does it look like at that point? What have we seen? I mean, this is already the second longest shutdown we've ever seen, but what happens next from the perspective of how much you expect to see more fallout?
Well, I would unfortunately imagine that if this continues, it will simply get worse. We started with a controller shortage anyway, which stems all the way back to COVID. The FAA, like a lot of companies, laid off excess employees. Traffic was down to 30% of normal. And so they did buyouts and things. But you don't just call them back. It takes years to train a controller. And the traffic came back far faster than expected. And now when you add to it the complications of the shutdown, no pay, we've got a royal mess on our hands.
Yeah, Sean Duffy, the Transportation Secretary, said that he is now seeing people who are dropping out of these training schools for this, saying, why am I doing this? Why am I going through this process if there's the chance that I'm not going to get paid over something like a government shutdown?
That's a problem, and I suspect, well, nobody has clean hands here, but picking and choosing who's going to be paid is like pawns in a poker game. That's not really fair either to the employees. You've got some sections of the federal government getting paid, others are not. And I personally think that this is a pretty important sector of our government, since when you consider the contribution to our economy, what this transportation system provides.
How do you see a way out of this at this point, or at all? And again, back to that original question, are we less safe traveling at this point, or is this simply a situation where you're going to deal with a lot of frustrations and potential delays?
Oh, I think you will. It's an incredibly complex system and interdependent. And when one area begins to have a problem, it multiplies. Example would be if the weather, was difficult in the New York area, busy area, and you had, shortages there. Well, that's going to back up into the system. You're going to have ground holds, ground stops, flights get delayed, crews become illegal. The flight crews, they can't just, fly endlessly. And if they're 2 hours late, well, that means that's 2 hours they're not going to fly somewhere else today. So it's a self-multiplying problem, unfortunately. And I think the solution would be, the first step would be pay the people that are doing the work they're doing and put some of this behind us.
But back to that original question, though, are you less safe flying today than you would have been a month ago?
No, I don't think. The good news of the system is it's built around safety. And when we don't have enough employees, whether the airline is short of crews, whether the controller shortages are there, you simply just bring the system down. And you may see that. You may see that you just accept the fact we're only going to run 70% of the flights because that's what we can handle safely.
Last week, we saw a situation with Alaska Airlines where they had to shut down thousands of their flights, I think, because of a computer outage. There was a technology outage that they faced, and that seems to be a problem that we've seen more and more frequently. Do you have concerns about that?
Well, yeah, not a concern, an operational concern. If I was a shareholder in the company, I would be worried. But what the biggest issue is, these airlines have incredibly complex, interwoven computer systems. They track the crew legality, passengers, weight and balance, all the things that need to be done. And there's hundreds of these systems. And if one of them has a problem, unfortunately, it's like a virus. It will spread throughout the system to the point that you're either going to have to fix it or bring the system down and bring it back manually.
Order canceled.
Randy Babbitt, former FAA administrator. Thank you,
Order
Randy,
submitted.
for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Coming up, we're going to have more on the government shutdown with Democratic Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego. That's coming up at 8:10 a.m. Eastern Time. Squawkbox returns in just a moment.
Franklin Templeton ETFs. With over 70 ETFs, we have solutions for every market, helping advisors build the portfolios of the future today. Franklin Templeton, your trusted partner for what's ahead.
Take your business from launch to legendary with Shopify. Sell more with the world's best converting checkout and turn analytics into opportunities so you can scale further, faster. Take your business to a whole new level. Switch to Shopify. Start your free trial today.
Hi, I'm Tiffany, and this is my TimberTech story. There were many reasons why I wanted to replace the deck. One, the size, and two, that it was made from old-fashioned wood. That's why I chose TimberTech. It was fire-resistant as well as aesthetic. The ease and the beauty of the product, it's exactly what we wanted for the cabin. It feels like it's been here since the beginning. And the fact that I get to create new memories with my family now is extremely special to me. TimberTech, it's everything wood should be.
Crypto staking just hit Wall Street. For the first time ever, staking rewards are available through a US-listed ETF. Introducing SSK, the Rex Osprey Sol plus staking ETF. Solana exposure with staking rewards built in. Convenient, cost-effective. Solana, staked on your behalf. All through a simple ETF. SSK from Rex Osprey. Not suitable for all investors. Investors should carefully review the fund's prospectus for objectives, risk, charges, and expenses. Visit rexshares.com to obtain it and read carefully before investing. Distributed by Foresight Fund Services.
When you grow up out here, you learn to tell facts from fertilizer. I keep my boots clean by rolling with AT&T. You know, the company that invented the telephone. AT&T's America's first network, and it's still the best. That's not me talking. That's the scoreboard. Just the fastest, most reliable network. Ain't that right, Graham? When you compare, there's no comparison. Plain talk, strong signal, nothing better.
Story about a true pioneer called Chloe. Chloe's got herself a darn fine career. Family depends on her hard work. She's got mouths to feed, a homestead to tend to. So she makes certain her little filly gets to do the things she loves.
Yes, nailed it!
For a modern pioneer like Chloe, the only life insurance that'll do is a modern woodman.
Modern woodman? That's a peculiar name for life insurance.
Zip it, Cookie.
All right, then.
With Chewy Pharmacy, save 20% and make every pet a healthy pet. Get quality meds to help with anything. Fleas, allergies, or recoveries. Delivered fast. For great prices, for life with pets, there's Chewy Pharmacy.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. French police have now made their first arrest in connection to the heist at the Louvre Museum. Prosecutors providing few details so far of the men who were detained, but said that one was intercepted before he could board a flight from Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. Police can hold the men in custody apparently for up to 96 hours before deciding whether to bring preliminary charges against them or to release them. Last week, of course, four thieves used a truck-mounted lift to break into an upper gallery of that museum and steal 8 pieces of jewelry valued at more than $100 million. And it was like, I don't know, Ocean's 11 or something. I mean, it's I don't know. Is it unfair that I was sort of rooting for them? I don't want to say I was rooting for them, but I was sort of just marveling at how this all happened, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Ocean's 11, except for they got caught pretty quickly. There was a statement that came out from the French police somewhere saying that they regretted that someone had too quickly announced the news, announced news that they had caught 2 of them because they haven't recovered the stolen jewels.
Right, and if we're talking about they'd have to be released in 96 hours if they're not charged, and that raises the possibility. I guess they're arranging for bail. They're asking whether they can use diamonds for
or
bail. It's just, how about we leave this?
Does that work?
Yeah.
This brooch?
But I mean, if you think about it, they probably are going to, the only way to fence it, I would think, would be to destroy the way that it
my guess is there's some black market that we don't know about.
Even
but there's somebody kooky who'd be willing to pay for.
And put it in there.
I've got a guy. No.
I think they're going to sell the. Unfortunately, I think it means that they would try to fence everything individually, like big, beautiful diamonds, right? Diamonds, rubies, whatever it is. I don't know.
There were some sapphires, I think.
But I guess people have art you can't do that with, and people steal art. And they have it in like a private room, and they show it to their friends.
It's like Gollum, my precious.
Yeah, my precious.
Okay, folks, when we come back, politics and the AI boom. The White House apparently isn't happy about the formation of a pro-AI super PAC with some big donors from Silicon Valley. We're going to have the latest on that next. And as we head to a break, check out some of the mega cap tech stocks. Squawk Box coming right back.
finally made it. Now let's go get that gold. I got a better idea.
The best investors see the bigger picture. That's why today, Blackstone is investing in the picks and shovels of tomorrow, like data centers and energy solutions.
We're gonna need more shovels!
Delivering proven performance for 40 years. Blackstone.
Over 90% of cobalt used in batteries comes from China. Electra Battery Materials, awarded $20 million by the U.S. Department of Defense, is bringing the battery supply chain home, reducing dependence on China and revitalizing our industrial base. Electra Battery Materials.
This is the farmer's dog turkey. Apparently, this is also turkey. But only one actually looks like turkey, since only one is gently cooked without the ultra-processing. And only one is human grade, because good ingredients matter. But the best recipes call for so much more. Get 50% off your first box, available only at thefarmersdog.com.
Ever worry that you're drinking too much? Take back control with Or Health. Or Health provides access to medication proven to help. A daily pill to drink less, or to quit drinking altogether. Text CNBC to 710-710 to learn more.
Thanks for calling Consumer Cellular, ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction.
Hi, my friend Linda has you guys and gets way better coverage than I do.
Sounds like Linda has you beat.
Not at bowling.
You're breaking up a little.
Are you really ranked #1 in coverage?
Yep. And plans start at just $20.
Oh, we could afford lessons for Linda. You're embarrassing yourself.
At least my phone works.
Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage satisfaction. Call or visit Consumer Cellular today.
Time is your most important asset, and AI is transforming the speed of business. Your innovation and how you protect it depends on the technology you choose to trust. 70% of the Fortune 100 trust CrowdStrike's leading AI-native cybersecurity platform, built to secure their business, and the AI fueling their innovation. AI is changing the world. We're securing it. CrowdStrike. We stop breaches.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. NBCNews.com reporting that the White House, unhappy with some of the biggest names in AI, forming a super PAC to back Republican and Democratic candidates. That super PAC, called Leading the Future, would support what the group calls AI-friendly candidates. CNBC contributor Mikhail Levram has been doing some reporting of her own on all this. She joins us now with more this morning. What exactly is the super PAC after? And tell us a little bit about this sort of internal skirmish, if you will, taking place with the White House.
Look, I think there is some inherent tension here between the White House and the super PAC, because the super PAC's strategy in order to really create lasting, sustainable federal framework for AI, which is what they're after ultimately, has to be bipartisan, right? So there is some inherent tension there. But just to throw a little bit of water on this, justifiably, everyone I've spoken to has really downplayed those tensions, because this is really modeled, partly because this is really modeled after what we saw with crypto, with the Fair Shake super PAC, which was really, really effective and also took a bipartisan approach. You know, if you remember, we had 18 Democrats in the Senate vote for the Genius Act, passed with flying colors, because of that. And so this is a really similar approach. And, it's the same administration in the White House. They clearly supported what we saw with crypto. So there's that. The other piece here is that, I spoke to one donor, by the way, who told me this has to be a bipartisan issue. It has to be a bipartisan approach in order to, again, be effective and sustainable, but that they personally are really only supporting Republicans. And while there are Democrats that are involved here, and again, they're taking, more holistically a bipartisan approach, I do think that there's going to be, just given the politics here and the leanings of various candidates that we're seeing, I do think there's going to be a little bit of a Republican slant here, which again is what we saw with crypto. Fair Shake supported both candidates on both sides of the aisle, but when it came to opposition dollars, it really only went against Democratic candidates who they saw as anti-crypto.
What exactly, to the extent that this group wants a form of regulation, what does that form of regulation look like?
I mean, it's not so dissimilar to what we've seen in the past from the tech industry with social media, again, with crypto. What they want to avoid is, first of all, a patchwork of state laws, which despite some efforts earlier on, states currently can set their own laws, and they're certainly moving forward with that. So one key difference with this super PAC versus Fair Shake is that they are going to be really, really focused on state elections in addition to the federal side of things. And that was different with Fair Shake. The other thing here is, they say kind of an AI first, America first agenda. They don't want to be slowed down. They don't want a moratorium on progress as they see it. What does that look like in the details? That's still kind of TBD, but those are kind of two of the critical things. And they really do see it, again, the people I've spoken to, as very aligned with the current White House strategy, with the current White House approach to AI.
Right. Where do they land on things like liability and copyright? So liability, for example, I don't know if you've been following Robbie Starbuck, who's been a bit of an activist investor type, recently sued Google, this after suing Meta earlier, because effectively Google was, he argued, slandering him by attaching him to all sorts of things. So when you typed in his name into Gemini, you'd get results back that would suggest he had done all sorts of awful things that he didn't do. Would the regulations allow for any kind of liability in that kind of instance? And then what about us creators in terms of the copyright for what we're doing that's getting ingested into these systems and then getting respit out?
Yeah, right now the super PAC really they haven't said yet where they stand on any of these really, really critical issues. I think that's going to be evident by who they end up supporting and who they end up opposing, which, by the way, they haven't disclosed that yet either. That's still TBD also. I will say, and this is probably indicative of where they stand on a lot of these issues that you're pointing to, which have still, really, really do need to be worked out soon, is that probably the real rift is between some of the backers of the super PAC and the kind of the Anthropic camp, and some of the news that we've seen there, which is taking a very different approach to what they see as the regulatory path ahead. And I think in general, what this super PAC is really against is kind of like what they see as the doomers. That's really broad. I know it doesn't answer your question, but they really haven't disclosed the details quite yet.
Okay, I want to thank you for waking up early on the West Coast, for your reporting. It's fascinating stuff. We're going to keep our eyes on it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You bet. Becky?
Thanks, Andrew. It is 8 a.m. on the East Coast, and you're watching Squawk Box right here on CNBC. I'm Becky Quick, along with Joe Kernan and Andrew Ross Sorkin. And among our top stories this morning, President Trump announcing an additional 10% tariff on Canadian goods after a TV ad from Ontario used edited audio of Ronald Reagan criticizing tariffs. The president calling the ads fraudulent and blasting Ontario for waiting until after the first two games of the World Series to pause that ad. Novartis is buying biotech company Avidity Biosciences for $12 billion, paying $72 a share in cash. Avidity develops experimental drugs to help treat rare diseases. And we are tracking Hurricane Melissa in the Caribbean. It has strengthened to a Category 5 overnight with sustained winds of 160 miles an hour. Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic are bracing for 15 to 30 inches of rain. There's a lot of concern about mudslides resulting from that as well, and we will continue to watch this. In the meantime, President Trump arriving in Tokyo earlier this morning after signing trade and mineral agreements with Malaysia and Cambodia and frameworks for trade deals with Thailand and Vietnam. Our Eamon Javers joins us right now. He has more on the progress and what to expect later this week. Eamon?
Yeah, good morning, Becky. President Trump arrived in Japan this morning after that whirlwind weekend that he spent in Malaysia. The president reached a trade and mineral deals with Malaysia and Cambodia, and he set up frameworks for trade agreements with Thailand and Vietnam during the course of that trip. Now, in Tokyo, the president began with what they call a courtesy visit with the Emperor of Japan, and he's later going to have a meeting with the new Japanese Prime Minister Sana Takaichi, who is the first woman to hold that role in Japan. Now, on Air Force One, President Trump spoke extensively with reporters, but he said he didn't want to share details of what officials are calling a framework economic agreement between the U.S. and China that could be signed by President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping later this week.
I don't want to tell you what the understanding is, because what we
understood yesterday or 2 days ago or even today is not going to be necessarily what it's going to be in 2 days. I mean, we're going to have a great talk. I have a lot of respect for President Xi. I like him a lot. He likes me a lot, I believe, and respects me, and I think he respects our country.
So the president there suggesting that it's a bit of a moving target in terms of what the actual agreement is. And speaking to NBC's Kristen Welker, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent yesterday sounded an optimistic note on those Chinese negotiations, arguing that the president's tariff threat has helped to get to a deal.
President Trump gave me a great deal of negotiating leverage with the threat of the 100% tariffs on November 1st, and I believe we've reached a very substantial framework that will avoid that and allow us to discuss many other things with the Chinese.
Now, in addition to those political meetings with leaders in Japan, the president is also expected to attend an event with business leaders there. The White House has not provided a list of attendees, but guys, it is expected to be a who's who of the business elite in Asia. Back over to you.
Okay, Eamon, thank you very much. That's our Eamon Javers.
All right, let's check the futures where things are really like accelerating from already very high levels. 329 points now indicated on the NASDAQ in terms of additional gains. Take a quick look at the Treasury yield curve. You see 4.02 on the 10-year. Oil, based on some of the new sanctions for Russia, back above 60. Oil, gold, down again today, but still above 4,000, but down 2%. And Bitcoin made a big move over the weekend on sort of a risk on from the news out of China, now back above 115,000. For more on the markets, let's get to Mike Santoli at the New York Stock Exchange. And I don't know if I'd call it a melt up yet, but it's accelerating higher at this point from, it was already looking pretty good after last week.
Yeah, Joe, after Friday's move higher, we did break above that 2-week range that we had in the S&P 500. Now, I guess the question is, what was accomplished during that, 9 days of sideways trading after we had that one-day drop on October 10th? Well, the momentum sector of the market, some of the speculative froth did have a sharp reversal to the downside. You had a little bit of a rethink of what we should expect in the way of ultimate trade agreements. Bond yield stayed subdued. We have cemented the idea for a Fed rate cut late this week. And then I think that CPI on Friday, and then even this report of some kind of a framework deal with China is much more just releasing the market to focus on big tech earnings. That's why you do see the NASDAQ leadership here. Everybody assumes final 2 months of the year are going to play to script, which means an upside bias. We'll see if that does play out, if we've got enough of a reset during those 2 weeks to really set the scene for something like that. Take a look here at how stocks have performed this year, across the world. We have these trade agreements happening. This is the Chinese market up some 35%. This is the ACWX is all equity markets in the world outside the U.S. It's outperforming the S&P. Of course, the S&P is having a very good year. This is all a catch-up move because if you look at any longer time frame, obviously the S&P 500 has trounced the rest of the world. So there's been this kind of mean reversion. A lot of spending has been catalyzed by U.S. trade policies outside the U.S., and that seems to be feeding into their equity markets as well. Take a look, finally, semiconductors versus home builders. I've tracked this for quite a long time, and you see how this is a 3-year chart. So for most of the last 3 years, they were kind of basically, in sync with one another, and now you have very much a semis, AI-focused strength in this market. Housing remains kind of hamstrung. This is the home builders, ITB. And that's one of these issues I think we might have to contend with is, are we going to be able to tolerate signs of softness in parts of the consumer cyclicals in the U.S. if we just believe it's a prelude to an acceleration in 2026, which is a lot of what the street is banking on. We'll see what maybe Fed Chair Powell has to say about that on Friday, guys.
You monitoring earning revisions and the like, Mike?
Yeah.
I've been arguing
it's all
that
moving the right direction.
It is, right?
Yeah, so massive earnings beats. Now, the full year is kind of coming in line with, I guess, a little bit below where we expected at the beginning of the year, but well above where we thought we were going to be in late summer. So I think also 2026, there's always next year. I think that's basically the way Wall Street works. Unless forced to rethink the idea of double-digit earnings growth in the subsequent year, it's not going to do that. That's becoming the denominator for the market, which is above $300 in S&P earnings, which, is helping to support where valuations are.
Right. Yeah, if we don't have it next year, if for some reason we didn't have next year, then there'd be no reason to worry about any of this right now. That's like if the end of the world's tomorrow, your trades won't even settle. You might as well do whatever you want, right?
So, yeah, take the risk, yeah.
See you later, Mike. Thank you.
Okay. Joe, we got some news this morning about a letter to shareholders from Tesla's board chair, Robin Denholm. In it, Denholm writes the following: the fundamental question for shareholders at this year's annual meeting is simple. Do you want to retain Elon as Tesla's CEO and motivate him to drive Tesla to become the leading provider of autonomous solutions and the most valuable company in the world, she asks. If we fail to foster an environment that motivates Elon to achieve great things through an equitable pay-for-performance plan, we run the risk that he gives up his executive position and Tesla may lose his time, talent, and vision, which have been essential to delivering extraordinary shareholder returns. We're going to be speaking to Robin Denholm in a first on CNBC interview about all of this in less than 30 minutes. The gauntlet's been thrown down here. The threat really is that Elon Musk could no longer be the CEO of this company if, in fact, shareholders were to block this compensation package. I know it's been controversial, but we're going to talk about all of this with her. And as you were just seeing there in Times Square, that live look, let's show them again. It's unbelievable. The Optimus robot and the Cybercab, of course, the Optimus robot, a lot of people super excited about that, but with the idea that this may very well be the future of Tesla and that company. We've got a lot more coming up on the show this morning. Senator Ruben Gallego is going to be with us on the shutdown battle. We'll talk to him. Squawk Box comes right back.
Seabeds. Your company started in the kitchen.
Hello?
Now it has 3. Your team of 5 grew to an army of 500. And that's your logo, right there in marble.
That's big.
To grow your business from big to bigger, you need an advisor built for the middle market.
Our data shows that this deal works.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Accounting, advisory, insurance, and more. Seabeds. Insights that impact.
Vehicle breakdowns are costly, but with Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a costly repair again.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
Call right now to get $300 off any plan. Call now.
So you corporate types are rock stars?
Well, that's as ridiculous as rock stars being corporate types.
Workday's AI agents are making you all rock stars.
Sorry, habit. Proceed.
So that's a slide. Any questions?
And now with Workday, we can manage our people and AI agents. I'm sorry. Who are they?
Oh, interns.
We're interns.
Good night!
I'll see you tomorrow.
Overtime's about understanding what just happened in the markets that day and preparing for tomorrow. I'm looking to talk to sophisticated investors, beginning investors. I'm always learning.
Closing Bell Overtime, weekdays 4 Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
We started a climbing gym to bring a safe place for youth.
Later this year, Rox is taking his biggest climbing trip ever. It'll be the hardest climb any of us has ever attempted.
Either you succeed or you fail. As a climber, you fail all the time.
Oh! I've never experienced anything like the Memphis Rocks crew.
Memphis! Memphis!
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Is running riot here. Oh, yes, sir. It is all quite astonishing.
Some developing news on the government shutdown. The country's largest union representing federal workers is now calling for lawmakers to pass a short-term spending measure to end the government shutdown immediately. In a statement shared with NBC News, the head of the American Federation of Government Employees urging Congress to pass a clean continuing resolution that would allow continued debate on other issues after employees get back to work. That's the position that Republican lawmakers have been advocating since the beginning. The union president saying both political parties have made their point and there is still no clear end in sight. He urges both sides to stop playing the blame game and pay workers for the wages that they've earned. By the way, I think this is different than some of the unions had said initially as this started out, but this has dragged on for so long and you are seeing these workers go without pay.
Yep.
And that is a big pressure point.
And maybe we can do something, but I don't know what's happening. Why not? Joining us now, Arizona Democrat Senator Ruben Gallego. Senator, it's good to have you on. You've got a bill. Senator Johnson had a bill. Did both of them fail to pass at this point? Have I got that right?
Yeah, I mean, actually, ours didn't even fail to pass. The Republicans refused to hear it and let it to the floor. Instead of debating it and actually putting to a vote, they stopped it altogether. And our bill was actually very clean and simple, which is give everybody, every employee that's a government employee right now that is not being paid, pay while we work this out.
The other bill, I guess the criticism, did you agree with that from Democrats that it gave President Trump too much leeway on which ones to pay, or why did that not pass?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because it gave the president the power to decide which employee was essential or not. And let's be honest, this president is quite temperamental. He acts like a child. He's very petty. And if you give him that power, he would use it in a petty, temperamental, childlike way.
Senator, I guess the critics of Democrats would say it's similar here. You're talking about a clean bill. The continuing resolution is a clean bill, a clean resolution, same as the one that was in March. And all along, it looked like that was going to be sufficient to get enough votes to pass, and it's just not.
I'm sorry, to who?
Democrats are demanding negotiation. They're demanding negotiation on other issues, on more appropriations.
No, we're demanding a very simple thing. We want to make sure that Americans, 24 million Americans, do not see their insurance premiums doubled. In Arizona, we're talking about 500,000 people that are going to see their insurance premiums doubled, in addition to all the inflation they're dealing with right now. 4 million Americans are likely just to not buy health insurance. That's the demand here. I think what you're talking about are just like the other points that Republicans try to do to distract from the fact they're about to raise the premiums on 24 million Americans.
Well, they're not, by not extending it, it would go up. But what's the 1.5 trillion, Senator? You could extend those. For 1 year, you could extend the Obamacare subsidies for $40 billion. For 10 years, you could do it for $345. You're asking for 1.5 trillion.
I'm sorry, are you an insurance broker? I'm sorry. Are you an insurance broker? Are you an insurance broker?
That's not germane to this, Senator. Are you an insurance
germane,
broker?
Because 1 year, we don't know what 1 year does.
Are you an insurance broker?
No, but I actually understand why I would first go talk to them, right? The reason we just don't go for 1 year, this is my point to this, is that for 1 year, the premiums may not set at the point that it's not going to raise premiums to double what we're worried about. Now, if we actually go and talk to insurance brokers, we talk to the industry, we talk to insurance regulators, and say, for 1 year, if you say extend the program for 1 year, insurance premiums won't double, absolutely, right? This is all about keeping costs low. That's the one thing I focus on, so I think Democrats are focused on. What we don't want to do is put ourselves in a situation where right now, where inflation is high, cost of everything is high, food, housing, we're now seeing auto loans and largest amount of default ever. We're not going to go and just summarily just raise insurance premiums on Americans when we know that there's a smart way for us to do it. Now, I'm not saying there has to be a full extension. I'm not saying that we actually have to give everybody the same amount of premiums subsidies that we have in the past, but we have to actually think about this in a smart, tactful way so that way Americans do not see their insurance premiums double. So someone just throwing out, well, let's just do it for a year. Like, we don't know if that's the case. It may have to be 2 years, it may have to be 3 years at a minimum, so that way there's at least an off-ramp for Americans so they don't actually see their insurance rates jump.
What's in
right
the 1.5 trillion? You could do it for 10 years, Senator, for $345 billion. What's in the 1.5 trillion that Democrats are demanding to open the government. And this is unheard of.
We're not demanding anything. This is just a Republican talking point. All I want is for the ACA to be extended for Americans, so 24 million people do not get their premiums doubled. That's what I'm asking for.
For how long?
I don't care. We can do a CR. We can keep it as long as we can negotiate with the Republicans. If the Republicans can come up with a good plan that is, again, does not give permanency, I think that's gone. Look, Republicans control the government. There's, the White House, Senate, and the House of Representatives. I have to actually deal with that reality. But what I want to make sure is that Americans do not suddenly get a huge bill starting January 1st. And that's
don't you need to open the government to negotiate? Don't you need to reopen the government to do that? If Republicans shut down the government next time Democrats are in charge to extract whatever it is that they happen to want, are you saying that's okay? Are you saying that's okay if they do that?
I mean, the Republicans have done this quite a while, yes. Yeah,
what did you say about it what did you say about it when they did it?
I don't know, and I don't care. What it matters is, again, about 24 million Americans. What I care about 24 million Americans, 24 million families have an opportunity to actually live the American dream and not have their insurance rates doubled overnight because the government refuses to act. Again, we can negotiate right now. By the way, how can I negotiate? The president's in Asia for 5 days. Johnson's basically keeping his the House of Representatives out till January to stop, and protect pedophiles. So who am I negotiating with right now? The other person I'm talking to right now is everyday Americans who are worried that they're going to have their insurance rates doubled overnight because Republicans refuse to act. So they're screwing up on tariffs, they're raising inflation, and now they're going to go ahead and raise your premiums.
The Republicans are refusing to be blackmailed and held hostage into what Democrats want. Mike Johnson doesn't need to do anything.
Democrats, that's what I want is 24 million Americans. I want 24 million Americans to have inflation. No.
Okay,
24 million Americans want their insurance.
We're
want
finished.
Healthy and affordable insurance.
I appreciate it.
You too. Have a good one.
Okay.
Have you back.
All right, up next, members of Congress calling foul on the NBA, and they are looking for answers. We've got the details of that story next. Plus, robots in New York. Let's take a look at a live shot right outside of our studio here at the NASDAQ. This is Tesla's Optimus humanoid robot. The company is getting ready for its shareholder meeting next week and is showing off some of its new technology. Optimus is handing out Halloween candy to passersby in Times Square this morning. Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, is going to be here to talk all about it. She's going to talk about how important this meeting is. She just put out a letter this morning basically saying if you want to incentivize Elon Musk and keep him engaged, shareholders have to pass this referendum. Squawk Box will be right back.
Goldman Sachs Active ETFs. Designed to deliver outcomes driven by more than 150 years of rigor. Not just active, relentless.
At Interactive Brokers, independent RIAs work with the best research and trading tools designed to help them outperform the markets. Meet them at Interactive Brokers Investors Marketplace for Advisors. Advisors at Interactive Brokers keep all they earn on our low-cost platform with no ticket fees or custody charges, low margin rates, and high interest earned on idle cash. To get better results, get a better platform. The best informed investors choose Interactive Brokers.
This is the story of the one who knows well-prepared workdays take off smoothly and land right on time. That's why he counts on Grainger. With next-day delivery and professional-grade products, Grainger helps ensure he, his crew, and thousands of passengers fly through the day like clockwork. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Longevity is not just about living longer, it's about staying you longer. Fatty 15 strengthens and energizes your cells, helping you hold on to everything that aging tries to take away. Fatty 15, long live you.
From our orchards in Oregon to your holiday table, Harry and David delivers a legacy of gourmet excellence. Our prepared meals, fine wines, charcuterie, all crafted to elevate any celebration. Make it a hand-picked holiday with Harry and David.
At AT&T Business, we guarantee our best deals on any smartphone with your choice of our best plans. What we can't guarantee, your employees having a similar work style. You hired them, or your staff all having the same vibe. I like this style. And your design team being on the same page?
Bold choice.
For 2002.
What AT&T does guarantee, our best deals on any smartphone with your choice of our best plans for any employee. And we mean any.
Worldwide Exchange, weekdays 5 a.m. Eastern and streaming on CNBC+. Never miss a moment.
To have companies, public companies, reporting every 6 months in a full-scale reporting parameter would work well. I don't think there's a lot of difference between transparency twice a year and transparency every quarter.
Credit quality for us still looks very strong. It doesn't mean it's not going to deteriorate. We just don't see it happening yet.
AI doesn't change the world until it changes the daily life of regular people, and that doesn't happen until most consumer apps are AI.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. Futures look solid this morning. You can see being led really by the NASDAQ, but the S&P is getting close. It's not 7,000 yet, but anybody that made that prediction at one point looked like they were going to be way off, and it's really not too far away at this point. Regional bank deal news. Huntington Bank shares is buying Cadence Bank for $39.77 a share in stock. Total transaction value is $7.4 billion. It will give Huntington about $276 billion in additional assets. Andrew.
Thanks, Joe. Meantime, members of Congress asking NBA Commissioner Adam Silver for a briefing by Halloween. That's when they want it to take place on the league's gambling scandal. The bipartisan letter coming after several former NBA players and coaches arrested in 2 separate gambling investigations. Silver has said he is, quote, deeply disturbed by the allegations. Congress is requesting answers on specific areas of the NBA's code of conduct and whether or not the NBA will reevaluate the terms of its partnerships with sports betting companies. So we're going to keep our eyes on that story, Becky.
I guess they want the briefing just to be mailed to them since they're not in session. Not going to have to speak before them.
That's a good question. Maybe it'll be over Zoom, but maybe that would mean you have to be working. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Janus Henderson says that it has received a non-binding acquisition proposal from the Trian Fund and General Catalyst. The company says that its board will appoint a special committee to consider that proposal. Trian first disclosed that it had taken a stake in Janus Henderson back in 2020, and if you're looking at that stock, it's up by almost 13% this morning.
Coming up next after this, Tesla taking over Times Square this morning. It's quite the sight. But we've got the interview of the morning. Tesla board chair Robin Denholz is going to be our special guest first on CNBC. It's going to happen after the break. We're going to talk about AI, robots, and yes, Elon Musk's big compensation package and her view on what shareholders should do. We're coming right back after this.
In a world of conformity, it's often the innovative that stand out. At FlexJet, we've built a state-of-the-art operations control center with an international fleet of private jets and helicopters. Our Red Label crews are leading the way in pilot compensation, all supported by one of the world's largest maintenance networks. This is our timeless dedication to you. That's why we're outgrowing the competition 2-1. At FlexJet, you won't just be flown, you'll be moved.
Benjamin Moore came to Unisys to migrate their critical workloads quickly. Unisys helped transform their IT environment through a masterpiece of cloud innovation.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspays.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
The premiums were getting unreasonable.
We just didn't need the coverage anymore.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspays.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Ever worry that you're drinking too much? Take back control with Or Health.
or health provides access to medication proven to help, a daily pill to drink less, or to quit drinking altogether. Text CNBC to 710-710 to learn more.
Every Monday and Tuesday, the NBA is on NBC and Peacock. Peacock NBA Monday, NBA Coast to Coast Tuesday. Every week, all season long.
Got something coming up
this fall. Get ready to think fast and eat faster at Raising Cane's. With hand-battered and cooked-to-order chicken fingers. So grab a box combo and catch...
My name's Chad Powers. 1, 2, 3!
A Chewy pharmacy order is on the way for Gouda. Meds verified by Chewy's licensed pharmacists, paired with his favorite cheese. Delivered by Chewy, devoured by Gouda. For quality meds, for life with pets, there's Chewy Pharmacy.
And if I wear a sweater, I'm not going to be able to see. Oh, hey, there you are. Are you ready to go watch some more me? No, not this time. I'm wide awake. I'm not going to fall.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. This morning, we've got a big interview for you. Tesla's annual shareholder meeting is next week, where investors in the company will vote on a new pay package for CEO Elon Musk that could grant him nearly $1 trillion more in stock. And joining us first right now on CNBC is Tesla's board chair, Robin Denholm. We're thrilled to have her and the entire Tesla operation outside there with the Optimus robot, the robo-taxis, and everything else. Robin, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Great to see you as well, Andrew.
So help us understand. We just saw what you put out this morning, effectively saying that shareholders need to vote in favor of this compensation plan to compensate Elon Musk and to make sure that he remains the CEO of the company. Make the argument for us, in part because I should note that, some of the firms like ISS and Glass Lewis, these governance firms, have actually told shareholders the opposite. They've said, vote against this plan. There have been others that have said that effectively Elon Musk is holding the shareholders hostage. You've been with your board sitting discussing this, and you believe that this is in the best interest of shareholders. Why?
Well, Tesla's in a transformative stage at this point in time where we're leaning in very heavily to the AI space in terms of both the vehicles, in terms of FSD, but also in terms of Optimus and the robots, as you can see here in New York today. And so for us, we sat back as a board and actually determined that this is the right time to lean into that transformation and for Elon to lead that transformation. And we then formed a special committee to actually determine what the right incentive program was to have him motivated to deliver unprecedented value for shareholders over this next decade.
And so what do you tell shareholders who say, this just seems like too much money? He's already incentivized. He owns a big chunk of the company already. I mean, that would be the pushback, right?
Well, it's a performance plan. If he doesn't perform against the milestones, both in terms of the market cap and the operational milestones, he actually gets nothing. He doesn't get any salary or any equity unless he actually performs and achieves the milestones that are in the plan. That is the basis of this performance plan.
Look, I've argued this is the greatest pay-for-performance plan that exists, as was the previous one, which was struck down. I want you to listen to this. This was Elon Musk addressing the upcoming vote during a call last week on the quarterly results call, where he discusses some of this.
I just don't feel comfortable building a robot army here and then being ousted because of some asinine recommendations from ISS and Glass Lewis who have no friggin' clue. I mean, those guys are corporate terrorists. And the problem, so let me explain the core problem here is that So many of the index funds, the passive funds, vote along the lines of whatever Glass Lewis and ISS recommend. Now, they've made many terrible recommendations.
So, Robin, how much of this is about incentivizing Elon? Because it sounds like to me more than anything, he believes that he actually worries about AI in the future and wants to have greater control of the company, and how I'm curious the board thinks about that.
Yes, he's been very consistent in that view in terms of having enough influence over the vote of Tesla in the future so that bad things can't happen with the AI. So it's less about compensation and more about the voting influence in terms of this. And that was very clear as we were negotiating from a special committee perspective in terms of this performance package. And if there was a way of delivering the vote without the actual compensation, we would have done that. But from our perspective, there was no way of doing that. So
can you do that with the voting shares that have like a supermajority vote?
You can, but you can only put them in place before you IPO. And so that's why some of the other technology companies have those in place. But we had many experts advising us and having a look at that exact question. Could we do that? And we ultimately couldn't. So, but what we have done in the plan is we've bifurcated the voting rights versus the economic value. He doesn't get those economic values till at least year 7.5, even if he delivers them in the first 5 years. And so that's one of the features of this plan. Shareholders get their return much earlier than Elon would if he delivers against the plan. And secondly, it really does make sure that the economic value is an incentive for him to stay at the company and continue to deliver for quite some time in the future.
Hey, Robin, right now you've got a market cap at Tesla of north of $1.4 trillion. What would Tesla be worth without Elon Musk, do you think?
Yeah, well, that's the whole question, which is why we're asking shareholders to vote. We're at this important inflection point. You know, there is nothing wrong with being just a car company. There are plenty of car companies out there. We think we deliver great cars out into the marketplace. But the opportunity for Tesla in the future, given this AI focus and attention and the unique capabilities that we have as an organization and that Elon brings to us, really does mean that the opportunity for the company ahead of us is significant. And so, and that's how this performance plan has been put together.
Do you think it's worth half what it's worth right now without him?
It's very hard to tell, but there is definitely a premium there because of the unique capability that he brings to the company and the opportunity that we have as a company ahead of us.
You'll
Robin,
never be an old-style company, I guess, Robin, where I'm looking for some new models. I mean, if you're going to that, you don't need a sexy new model for me, do you? The first one was so great, the Model S, obviously, the style and everything about it.
Still a great car.
It is. Is there any way I can hope for some really cool, I don't know, is a Roadster, a new one coming?
It's on the roadmap.
It's on the roadmap. Do you have any, can you describe it to me? Is it bigger than a brand?
I'm not going to announce
But if you're doing all this, maybe you don't need to do what we've always done, you know, a new Mustang, or you don't need the old way we think of American cars.
Yeah, I mean, Elon talked about that last week on the earnings call.
He did, yeah.
You know, leaning into FSD and actually AI in the vehicles has actually been the focus over this last period of time. The integration of that with a really purpose-built vehicle for autonomy is actually really important, which is why you see the Cybercab.
Yeah.
And again, the vehicles that we have on the road today are great vehicles using full self-driving as well.
Okay.
Hey, Robin, you know, one of the questions that shareholders seem to ask is, how can you guarantee that you're going to be able to capture and get all of Elon's attention? Obviously, you know, he's a renaissance man of sorts in that he has various interests and lots of different businesses, including SpaceX being the other biggest. And how much you think that you have to incentivize him economically to keep his eye on Tesla, or if it should be contractual? How have you thought about that distinction?
Yeah, I mean, I think the plan speaks for itself on that front. He can't deliver against the plan without the focus and attention. The goals that we have in the plan around market cap to get to $8.5 trillion, more than many companies out there combined today, is actually a significant set of goals that he has to achieve, and he has to actually focus on Tesla to achieve those. And so, and delivering the operational milestones, both in terms of products, but also in terms of a $400 billion EBITDA number, that is an enormous task for anyone. And for Elon,
Right.
He is motivated by doing things that other people can't do or other companies can't do. And that was very much in the forefront of how we constructed the plan.
Robin, one of the other things you put on the table, which I actually imagine is partially to incentivize Elon as well, is the possibility of taking a stake in xAI, which of course is his other business connected to X. Of course, I shouldn't say of course, but given the way ISS and Glass Lewis and others have been pressing, they're saying this shouldn't happen, that this would be a conflict. How does the board think about that? Let's say that shareholders approve the idea of considering that stake. When you think about, to the extent there is a conflict, how do you think about it?
Yeah, well, firstly, it is a shareholder proposal. And what that means is that the company didn't put the proposal on the proxy. It was actually submitted by shareholders. We received a number of them, and actually this was the most common proposal around xAI, to take a minority stake or at least vote on that. We as a board want to hear shareholders' points of view. From our perspective, shareholder primacy is a very key principle that we've had on all of our topics, this one included. Now, that does not mean that as a board we would just do what the shareholder vote comes in at. We would then assess if it's a for vote to take a minority equity position. We would, as a board, examine that and look at the benefits for shareholders to do that. And we would do it in the same way that we do other related party type of transactions. We have a very robust related party transaction process at the company. The audit committee oversees that, and those transactions are disclosed. Now, obviously, taking an equity stake is different to other transactions, but we would take the same fiduciary responsibilities very seriously if that were to happen. But again, it's a shareholder proposal. We will see what the vote comes in at, and we'll take that into consideration as the board reviews that proposal.
Hey, Robin, I don't know if you saw this, but I wanted to ask you about it. Adam Jonas, the analyst, out with a note this morning. He says, "I'm calling it. Autonomous cars are solved. When I say solved, do I mean 6 or 7 nines to the right of the decimal? No, perfection never, but enough to pull the safety driver at scale in major metros." He says, "If Elon pulls the safety driver with a camera-only robotaxi in Austin, that would be a very big deal. And from our discussions with Tesla, it appears the only thing preventing Tesla from pulling the driver is its own abundance of caution." What do you think of that?
Well, we are being extremely cautious. Elon talked about it last week on the earnings call as well. Safety is our number one priority for the vehicles per se, and it has been from the beginning. And introducing full self-driving into the robo-taxis and also into everybody's vehicles today means that we take a very cautious approach in terms of delivering that. And the robo-taxis are no different, making sure that there is a safety driver in the passenger seat is one of the ways that we demonstrate that in terms of being super cautious.
But how close do you feel you are to taking the driver out and also just rolling this out to even more cities? Here you are sitting in New York City right now. I'd love to sit in a robo-taxi there. We haven't got them yet.
Yeah, obviously, there's also regulatory hurdles that you have to make in any city, and you have to comply with all of the local regulations. And so the team is very focused on city by city, making sure that we're meeting all of the regulatory standards, and that we actually then bring the vehicles to that city. And so, as you can see from the performance package, there's a lot of robo-taxis that we envisage at some point over the next decade, in terms of having 1 million robo-taxis out there as one of the goals that Elon needs to hit.
Hey, Robin, you are such an interesting person, and you're in such a unique position, I think, as chair of Tesla, to be working with Elon Musk, to have the pressures that have come from the Delaware court decision, to have to be dealing with shareholders on all of these things. What's the hardest part of your job?
Well, I think all of the directors at Tesla are very hardworking. I couldn't ask for a better board, actually, and everybody pitches in. We work with the management team. We're on calls all the time. You can see from the proxy, we had 58 meetings over this last year.
You have a lot of stuff that you're handling.
What other company has that? And so, from my
Order
perspective,
submitted.
having the right board to govern a company that is as unusual as Tesla is really important, which is why we're asking shareholders to vote for the 3 directors that are up for re-election this year.
Robin, when...
Just real quickly, what's different now that Elon has left the government and come back?
Well, obviously, the outside perspective of him spending more time at Tesla, that perception obviously is diminished a little bit in terms of that. He is very much front and center, and has been for quite some time. And it is enabling us to continue to focus on the business of Tesla, and for the employees to feel that as well each and every day. It's great.
In New Jersey, so not here, and I don't feel safe driving here a lot of times. So in New Jersey, there's a lot of traffic. When can I buy a Tesla where someone gets in the Tesla at my house, puts in where he or she wants to go, it takes him or her there, and drops them off? When can I do that?
Without supervision.
Without supervision.
So today you can do it with supervision. I can even do it in Sydney. So
someone has to just watch what's going on, but it will take him and park and everything.
Let's say a child.
Or someone who doesn't want to...
by themselves.
Or someone someone who doesn't want to have the risk of hurting someone or someone wants to be able to have his own car, but doesn't want to drive it and to get to where he's going. Totally self-sufficient.
Yeah, well, full self-driving is available.
So we're ready now.
But it is supervised, and that is, again, under our abundance of caution, making sure that that's there. But the interventions that people are having are fewer and fewer.
Like even as a soccer mom or something, if you want to send your kids to practice without you, when's that coming?
At some point in the future, but that will also be dependent on regulatory. Like, are you able to send the kids without?
A year, 2, 3, 5, what?
I will not predict the regulatory pieces. The technology will be there before the regulatory pieces are there.
A year for
Robin?
Okay. Yes. Andrew.
I was going to ask, I know we're all focused on cars, but I'm curious if we're all sitting together 10 years from now, will we think of Tesla as a car company, or will it be a robot company? You know, just even seeing Becky getting those gummies, being handed the gummies by Optimus, is that what it is? And how close are we to true dexterity? Because, you know, people always say that robots can do a lot, but they still can't fold laundry, for example.
Oh, well, Optimus can fold laundry. I've actually
I will say
been in the
it was a
lab.
pretty gentle grasp with the gummies that he could have squished, and once or twice he dropped them like he did just now, and he went back and picked them up carefully.
No,
that's pretty gentle.
Exactly right. So I've been in the lab with Optimus. He can fold laundry. He can wipe the table down really well. He can hand things to you. You can actually shake hands with him. The tactile nature of his hand is actually really very good. And so
I wasn't supposed to touch it, but I did.
Yeah, you can. I mean, again, from a cautious perspective, we continue to make sure that people are cautious around him. But You know, he also can dance. You've seen some videos. He's very mobile and very dexterous. He's walking around the offices in Palo Alto all the time. So I'm actually quite excited. But I think to answer your question, we're redefining what transportation is, but we're also redefining robotics and what AI brings to robotics and how versatile the robots will be in the future as well, Andrew.
In terms of, by the way, Elon's spending most of his time, it sounds like these days, on the robots themselves. I mean, that's where his focus is.
He's spending time on many different areas. On the earnings call, he even talked about the AI chips that he's been working on and the team are working on. Obviously, the software, we do have a few other vehicles coming out, so he spends time on that. He's spending time on everything across the board.
And then finally, because I got to ask you to weigh on it, we've asked everybody, everyone talks about an AI bubble, whether there's a sort of, indiscriminate spending, almost too much spending in this space, and that it's going to catch up to us at some point. Where do you land on that topic?
Yeah, my view is that the technology of AI is truly transformative, and it will continue to be over the next decade or more in terms of what it's done. I was thinking about this yesterday. If you think about 100 years ago, where most houses didn't have electricity or had cars in the driveways, that to me is what's happening at this point. It's we're changing transportation with AI, and we're changing the way households will work and how workplaces will work with robotics. And I think that's incredibly exciting, and Tesla aims to be at the forefront of that.
Robin, I want to thank you for joining us and for bringing Optimus with you, no less.
Thank you. And I'd like to leave our shareholders with, please get out there and vote. This vote is really important across the board in terms of not just the performance package, but also the directors and the other proposals that we have out there. Thank you.
How many Tesla shareholders traditionally will vote in an annual meeting, and how many do you anticipate this
Well, last year we had a record turnout, and we hope to have the same again this year. It is a very important vote.
What was the percentage that turned out last year?
It was quite high. I can't remember exactly, but one of the things,
75 or 80%.
Well, don't forget we have a very unusual shareholder base in that we have over 30% that are retail shareholders, and so. For me, it's actually just making sure that shareholders use their voice and vote. And it's really important to us that they do. Thank you.
All right, up next, big tech earnings on deck for investors. We'll talk about the week ahead for Wall Street with Stephanie Link. Squawk Box will be right back.
For most people, risk means danger and uncertainty. For me, it means opportunity.
For shortly.
Risk is a constant. It's something to embrace and manage.
Short for the win.
It takes focus, resilience, and discipline. When the pressure is on, I feel right at home. How do you manage risk?
CME Group, where risk meets opportunity.
When logic bends, when certainties shatter, when left is right and right is left, which way do you turn? Go beyond the headlines. A trusted global perspective. The Economist. Know which way is up.
We need to find ways to optimize the use of the land. Agrivoltaics involves putting solar modules on top of lands to generate energy while also supporting food production.
At the InnoAgri experimental platform, we test different technologies and study their impact on crop growth.
What we do here in France could have a real impact across Europe and beyond.
We can't calculate our total taxes?
Do you realize how many different taxes we pay? Sales tax, different POS systems in all 7 countries.
And online sales?
That's a whole other system. And different regulations. There's real estate credits, solar incentives.
And we have no way to integrate all that.
No, but BDO does.
People who know BDO.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can simply arrive or make an entrance. Stick to the agenda or experience something unexpected. With IHG's 20 hotel brands, you can guest how you guessed.
Matteo, one of the things I'm always struck with is how focused you are on the customer.
You need to give the clients the best user experience possible. The more data you have, the better service you can give to your client in terms of the new best product. Accenture is helping us analyze the data in the best possible way.
Talk about what's next.
Better of the same. It's not more of the same, it's better of the same.
Hi, I'm Josh Brown, one of the original contributors to CNBC's Halftime Report. Don't miss my list of the best stocks in the market exclusively for CNBC Pro.
Join Pro for exclusive access to Josh Brown's best stocks in the market.
All right, the busiest week of earnings season is upon us. We want to bring in Stephanie Link for this. Steph, it's not just earnings season. Man, we've got this potential trade deal that looks like it's a much better situation. We have the markets at new highs. We've got the futures up sharply this morning. Kind of on a roll here. Does that make you feel good, or do you get nervous when things are this good?
Oh, I feel really good, Becky, and thanks for having me. Good morning. The economy is hanging in there, more than hanging in there. It's running at 3.9%, according to the Atlanta Fed tracker. The Fed is about to really embark on more easings ahead, and we have that this week, of course. And Fed Powell actually also hinted that maybe they even go in December, so I think feel good about that. And then it's all about earnings, right? Earnings are actually much better than expected. And I was thinking we would see 10 to 12% in earnings growth. So far, we're at 15%, with revenues growing 8% and margins expanding. So it is a really good environment. And again, it all has to do with the economy is doing well. And one thing we've learned from the management teams on all these conference calls is they're feeling better. They know the tax bill. They know a little bit more about tariffs, and they're dealing with the tariffs. A little bit better than expected, by the way. PMIs are in expansion mode, so they're spending more. They feel better. And I think they sound a lot better on the call so far than last quarter, certainly.
Last week, it was all about the banks, and we did see the banking index, or the banking ETF. I think it was up by better than 3%, even though the major averages were up by closer to 1%. Outperformance in those banks. This week, you've got a lot of the tech names, Microsoft, Google, and Meta, all reporting on Wednesday. And some of the industrials, too, like Boeing. So what do you do ahead of those numbers coming out for any of those?
Well, I mean, I own quite a few of them. I think with regards to the banks, on any weakness you want to be buying. And I'm really excited about this H-band buying cadence this morning. That just shows the confidence that these banks have now, and the fact that the deregulation is happening in terms of being allowing companies to do some more M&A. In fact, H-band has done 2 acquisitions in 4 months, so that's kind of cool. So on any weakness, I want to be buying the banks. And then in terms of this week, I own Meta. I don't own Microsoft and Alphabet. I think with Meta, to me, it's trading at 21 times forward estimates, and you're getting 22% revenue growth and operating margin expansion. Remember last quarter, Meta had 500 basis points of operating margin expansion. I don't know if we're going to see that this go round. But I do think that the company has gotten much more disciplined in terms of the expenses. So that'll be that. In terms of Microsoft and Alphabet, we got to see cloud revenues stay strong. So last quarter, Microsoft had Azure about 40%, and Alphabet had about 32% in their cloud business. So can it stay that strong? And I think it probably will. So on any weakness, I think you want to be buying it. We're just not getting the weakness that much.
Back in January, you named Boeing your favorite idea for the year. Again, they're reporting this week. How's that stock done since January? Somebody show me a chart year to date.
I think it's up about 20%.
There you go, 26.
So.
26%.
26. Yeah. I mean, it's done nicely. I was hoping it would do even better. I think it will do better. It's really all about the 737 MAX and the production. And we know that the FAA gave them approval to increase the 737 MAX production to 42 a month from 38. Why is that important? It's important because eventually when they deliver these planes, that means they get more free cash flow. And I think that the free cash flow estimates, it's for negative $400 million this quarter. I think they're going to easily beat it. And I think over time, over the next several years, you can get to something like $10 billion in free cash flow. And that is what this company trades on. New management, and they're not even new anymore. They've been there for about a year, but really good management, proven track record, good execution. It has never been a demand problem for Boeing. It has been an execution problem, a safety problem, and I think that that management team is actually fixing it.
Steph, thank you. We will see you again very soon.
Thank you.
By the way, check this out, Joe. There's a line of people waiting for candy. I think they're probably waiting to get a picture with the robot.
Yeah.
Because the candy's a little bit of that.
Start about 8:30. Yep.
Good gummies, but they're Sour Patch.
They're very sour. Up next, we'll be right back.
Opportunities don't stop when the market day ends. So neither do we. Schwab gives you round-the-clock access to over 1,100 of the most popular stocks and ETFs, plus a wide variety of futures markets. All with 24-hour support from trading specialists who understand the ins and outs of 24-hour trading. No matter the hour, you can trade brilliantly with Schwab.
Oh, so you corporate types think you're rock stars?
That's as ridiculous as us being corporate types. Let's begin.
Rockstar move using Workday to handle all our AI agents.
Well, watch me handle my agent, Gary. Bubbly water, no bubbles.
So what'd you do this weekend?
The huge.
Shout out to Carmen for using Workday to manage our people and AI agents.
What are we doing?
Just clap.
Carmen!
You make good choices. Always planning ahead. Like to not just chase a career.
Good morning.
One day,
We got 30 minutes. Everything looks overbought. NQ on the 15 minutes looks overbought. Might dip, so I don't know. Market is stupid. If your name is red, I mean you're on the subscription for YouTube for the race.
I got something coming up this fall. Get ready to think fast and eat faster.
So yeah, if you're red, I think you're gonna be on the Lucid race today, later today.
Chicken fingers. So grab a box combo and catch. Name's Chad Powers.
Hey son, before you get married, we need to have the talk.
Not right now, Dad. I need to go over my vows. Is L. Duncan going to talk to me about
setting a budget when you bet? I heard that you won that long shot parlay, but that you haven't won since. Just because you win big once doesn't mean you figured it all out.
Still need to have that talk about.
I don't know why, Tommy. I don't see your name on the thing.
At ESPN, we believe the best play is a smart play.
Happening on Squawk Box this morning, Tesla's board issuing a letter urging shareholders to vote in favor of Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package. Another regional banking deal as well. Columbus-based Ohio-based Huntington Bancshares is buying Cadence Bank, which has its headquarters in both Houston and Tupelo, Mississippi, for $7.4 billion. And earlier this month, Fifth Third made that deal to buy Comerica. Also, Lululemon is partnering with the NFL to launch a clothing line for each of the 32 NFL teams. The line is expected to go on sale tomorrow.
She's as sweet as Tupelo honey.
Tupelo.
Remember that?
No.
Van Morrison. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Squawk on the Street coming up right
I do
now.
have the Renee song stuck in my head.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with Jim Cramer, David Faber at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Coming off Friday's all-time highs, stocks setting up for possible Fed cut this week, a third of the S&P reporting earnings, and a China trade framework that, if not a breakthrough, sure feels de-escalatory. 10-year 402. Our roadmap begins with the president in Asia saying the U.S. and China are close to a trade deal ahead of talks with Xi this week.
It is a merger Monday. We've got some big deals in banking, healthcare, utilities, water. We're going to break all of them down. And, of course, get ready for what is going to be the busiest week of earnings season. We've got Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet. That's a lot of market cap right there, all getting ready to report.
Let's begin with this market optimism amid hopes for a U.S.-China trade deal. Both sides agreeing to a framework ahead of talks between the president and Xi later this week. Yesterday on Meet the Press, the Treasury Secretary said he expects a delay on Beijing's rare earth export curbs. Take a listen.
I'm also anticipating that we will get some kind of a deferral on the rare earth export controls that the Chinese had discussed.
Okay.
But again, this will all be, my counterpart, the Vice Premier, and I have set the framework, and it will be up to the two leaders to discuss the final terms.
Meantime, Jim, there's soybeans, there's fentanyl, there's TikTok, a lot to get done here.
I can't believe how wide-ranging this is. Obviously, Treasury Secretary Besson is, I continue to think, surprises everybody. Don't think of him as a Republican or Democrat. I just think of him as one of the most knowledgeable people I've come across. He's a soybean farmer, too. There's anything this guy to do. But
he leases land to soybean farmers.
Well,
I don't think he's out there actually farming.
I got 3 cows. People call me a cattleman.
Nobody calls
like
you a
Taylor
cattleman.
Sheridan.
No? Yeah,
Okay.
We'll talk plenty about him later, but yeah, you are a gardener, though. I will give you that.
Oh, your tomatoes are out of control.
That is for real,
I
man.
had 100 jars.
Nobody gardens better in a suit and tie than you.
You know, it's good that 9:02 we got right to it.
All right, you want to get back to China trade? Go ahead.
Sure, Scattaboo. Let me finish. Here's, ouch. We actually clapped for.
We're rooting for him.
We demonstrated some
humility.
Generosity.
Yeah.
Can I just say
it's a first.
that you go into these? Stop it. You go into this kind of talk, and you do expect some sort of glitch, and you come out, and it just sounds like everything that every stock, everything that anybody loaned to stock wins. David, this is highly unusual.
It could be highly unusual. We're obviously seeing the response in the futures. We'll see how he opened 27 minutes or so from now. But there's a lot at stake in China trade, and you just said it, across the board, so many different things, whether it be soybean sales, which, of course, none are being sold to China right now by U.S. farmers. TikTok, which has already been done, but we haven't really revisited that deal and the specifics of it, and they still need to give the full permission for the algorithm because it's going to be licensed for a while it's being recreated, and on from there. Rare earths, obviously, probably the most important part of it, Jim, because it can bring a number of different industries to not quite a standstill, but slow them down a lot.
Meantime, look, the president's trying to find the rare earth wherever they can. Lula talking about rare earth in Brazil. Brazil has a lot of rare earth. It's not as rare as you think.
No, it just takes a while.
Right.
It takes a while to get it all going.
But in
to
our
mine it,
country,
get the supply chain going, get the magnets made, because it all has to do with
No, absolutely.
the
I'm
end
just
result.
saying that if you could get the Chinese to give us some forbearance over a couple of years.
Something to tie us over?
Yes.
How are chips going to play into this? I do wonder. That's not something we heard about, right?
That's where I wanted to go to, because the action right now on AMD and NVIDIA, now NVIDIA does have the big GTC Washington conference, is so bullish. Now Broadcom is right, she's talking about how their deal with Google is really good, but that's so bullish. And NVIDIA was up, it started moving around 4, and I just think that people are buying. I'm big NVIDIA, I own it, don't trade it, but that anyone has any knowledge about what that deal is kind of shocking, since it's not been brought up at all.
Right. Well, we should point out there's no assumption of any sales at this point from NVIDIA to China.
50 billion, right now 0.
Right. It was a $50 billion overall market. Overall market, but they obviously were an important player in that market. That has changed dramatically. And meanwhile, if they do sell stuff there, the U.S. government's going to get 15% of the revenue.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
I forgot
forget
about that revenue share.
Yeah, the weird revenue share. But
Better than the quantum deal. We didn't see any quantum deal over the weekend.
No.
But those stocks are still moving up.
But, Carla, the larger point, if there was a deal with China, it might also include at least them actually buying some of these chips that are made for the Chinese market specifically.
Right. Some have said, Jim, a 1-year delay on the rare earth curbs is good, but it's not the grand bargain that you might envision.
No,
at least some might.
But I think that what seems to happen is they renew these deals. You get 1 year, and then maybe it's like I thought the November 1 deal. If we remember, I thought the market was going to go down because I felt that was too close. But the president seems to often immediately says, including that little clip this morning, that she's the greatest. I mean, it seems like that the guy Doug Ford is the guy who's become the target of Not Argentina, not Brazil, not Korea, not Japan.
No, the guy in Ontario. Who they ran an ad that was disliked by the administration. So 10% more for you. Yeah.
Now, how about the other branches of government? They're not really involved, right? You can just do that. The president can just wake up and say 10% for you.
Well, the Supreme Court's going to make a decision on that probably fairly soon.
Yeah, arguments are soon. In fact, the timing of this TV ad that makes you mad, so you raise tariffs, might be folded into some arguments.
I've read Andrew's book, 1929. It's incredible. Like senators, congressmen, they were involved in tariffs back then. I mean, that was kind of like a Jeffersonian thing.
We should explain it, but what we're talking about, obviously, is the Supreme Court ruling on whether the president does have these emergency powers, so to speak, to unilaterally be the decider of all things related to tariffs, which typically has been you need congressional approval.
Exactly, and that's what one of the crucial things about the 29 book, as I show for Andrew because I liked it and he's my friend, is that there was amazing, it was like momentum came from Congress, and it was the president that had to play defense. Here, Congress has taken itself out. I don't think they meet that much anymore, and it does seem like, well, there are countries where that tends to happen. They go more toward dictatorship than they do become more, kind of more democratic.
Speaking of Congress, Jim, the number of days that the House has been in session over the last 3 months is kind of sad. Now we're going to be looking at expiration of SNAP benefits for millions of Americans by the end of the week.
That's November 1st, correct?
Yep. Yeah, and that's more of the have-not economy. That's the, that's that Dollar Tree economy versus, I don't know, what do you want to say? It's not even, it's not Walmart's like high.
I don't know how many members on my Tradeify team. It doesn't tell you. I guess when it starts, I'll know. As of now, I don't know.
What are we, lower end? I don't know what.
Yeah, but we don't know the word yet.
Where it's
so cold.
But by the way, the consumer generally still strong.
Yeah, because everybody still jobs and AI
still not really seeing.
Jobs.
I mean,
we haven't seen AI.
There are pockets. You may see a little bit on auto delinquencies or things, but generally, what I've been hearing is that it's, for the most part, quite.
Consumer names, Jim, have not played the way tech has. Got a downgrade of Hog today over at Morgan Stanley on this very issue.
Not doing great except for Best Buy, where you're seeing that incredible PC refresh. But the way to play that is to buy the Microsoft piece, where it says Microsoft's back being a monopolist again. You see that positive piece about Microsoft from Google?
I did not.
Said it's great. It's got back to near monopoly on the productivity suite. Well, the Justice Department's not as interested in that monopoly thing anymore.
No.
Monopoly,
no,
maybe Redding and the B&O and stuff, but not playing that. But not the real.
I don't.
The real monopoly.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
I mean, we can't lose sight of the fact that there are whole branches of government that used to be anti-business that now seem to be very, let's say, looking the other way. Fair?
Yeah, there's a deregulatory frame.
Coal is back.
For the most part. Now, in some industries, though, it could apply much more stringently if, in fact, the president doesn't like you.
Do you think Cadence would be able to do H-band Cadence just like that, like who cares? Or your Waterworks deal that you mentioned? These were deals that would never be done.
Really? Not?
I don't
you don't think so?
No.
Well, we'll get to the deals in a moment, but yeah.
Wow, Mr. Deal Man doesn't even want to get to the deals. You want to go to dental?
He wants his own segment.
That's true. I want my own segment.
How about you?
Yeah, I want my own segment.
Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm. You like that?
Yeah,
Did you guys have a good time at the game yesterday? Was it fun?
It was a great game, actually.
Yeah, I had a couple extra tickets. Sorry.
Page one of the Enquirer is a huge picture. Yes.
Hard enough, man. Yeah. Hard enough, and then you got to say that.
You had to wear your war paint if you wanted to beat the box.
Yeah, I know.
When we come back, to David's point, the urge to merge, we'll break down some of the deals being announced ahead of today's open. As futures do look positive and yields are stable, don't go anywhere.
What are you doing up there?
Oh, I'm just posting the number of visitors to the Homes.com network this month. It's become the go-to home shopping site.
It's got another 14,000.
What?
Gotta go back up.
Homes.com, the place to find a place.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine.
Well, she doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Even a term policy?
Even a term policy!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-476-0100 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
Age-related memory decline? Meet new Qunol Brain Health, the first and only tablet to combine 2 high-absorption ingredients, clinically shown to improve memory, focus, attention, and more. Trust Qunol for more comprehensive brain health support.
Morning, guys.
Why is Jeff Bridges here?
I'm studying to be in a T-Mobile commercial. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's the most pro iPhone yet.
So you can't teach that. Okay. You can save up to 20% versus the other big guys. And see.
At T-Mobile, get iPhone 17 Pro on us. Plus, save up to 20% when you check the Mac.
I always wanted to teach money management, and that's why we created this club.
Jim is such a great teacher, teaching us about the whole economy and how it all fits together.
There's a lot of learning that can happen by just listening to Jim and Jeff in the morning.
He makes it easy for someone like me to understand how to invest my money properly.
He teaches how to invest versus just what trades to make.
Get invested. Join the club today. Go to cnbc.com/joinjim.
The audio's good, right? Oh, my background. Oh, my TV noise. Yeah. Sorry.
Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Everyone says I'm done with football.
He dropped it at the 1-yard line.
Dude, your face is toxic.
I'm sure it's a different quarterback with a cubic zirconia stud.
Well, it's a blood diamond. If I can't play as Russ, I'll play as someone else.
He's like extremely ugly.
He's really good.
You were born for this moment.
Are you crying?
Oh, God.
All right, we got some deals to talk about this morning. Any number of them, kind of decent headlines, but let's start with Novartis. Buying a company called Avidity Biosciences. Again, kind of one of those names, frankly, you wake up, he's heard of every name there is, but I'm always like, really? Who are those guys?
No, I know they're going after heart diseases.
It's $12 billion, so it is not insignificant. 72 a share in cash. And you can see, of course, a significant premium over where the stock closed. That said, I did have a conversation this morning with somebody who's owned the stock for quite some time, and they were disappointed. Basically, Jim, with the idea that, in fact, in this case, they believe that given the data that this company has shown, and they, again, the science, I'm not going to try and even explain it, but RNA delivery to muscles, it's for rare diseases. We're talking about diseases that affect 50,000 patients or 80,000 patients, but apparently the data has been quite strong, not showing a great deal of risk, significant efficacy, placebo-controlled efficacy, and in their opinion, this is a company that could be realizing anywhere from $6 to $10 billion in annual revenues in the not too distant future. Hence, their disappointment to a certain extent that they would choose to sell out even at a significant premium to the stock price.
But
take a look at now. This is ALNY. You know that company?
Sure.
They deliver there. It's RNA for liver disease. So they're not focused on the same treatments, but they brought that name up to me as well as being, for example, $60+ billion market cap company. Is ALNY as to where this company could have gotten to on its own. So you do sometimes find in these kinds of deals disappointment, amazingly enough. There it is, Alnylam Pharma, that, amongst some shareholders who truly believe. In that case, their opinion is best biotech deal they've seen all year for Novartis. So that's one person's opinion. Somebody I do rely on. I'm not going to name, but yeah.
I mean, suffering after last night's Steeler beatdown, but it was huge Steeler. But I will tell you,
they believe they got a great deal there.
I read this and I said, impossible diseases to fix, can't do it, hopeless. Unfortunately, and you're telling me that there is some early success here?
Correct with this.
That's a very big deal.
With the RNA treatment. Yes, that is at least the belief.
That would be sensational.
Here, so we'll keep an eye on what Novartis is able to do with this company. All right, we do have a utilities deal as well. They come up with huge headline numbers, but the equity in the deal, what they're actually buying, about $11.8 billion, and that may be in fact affected by how the stocks move, because it is a ratio that we're talking about, 0.0305, 0.305, he said, of American water for each share of Essential. That's correct. About a 10% premium. You can see not doing much there. Again, $27 billion when you add in debt, $40 billion market cap overall when you combine the two companies, $63 billion enterprise value for the combination. A lot of debt here as we keep an eye on that. And then, guys, we've got Trian, longtime holder.
People don't know, but that was Aqua America. That's why people are confused.
Okay.
That was their predecessor name for Essential, and that had been the old Suburban Water, and they've been the big acquirer for many years now. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's a water colossus. I know it sounds silly, but
no, I believe it. It's a water colossus, and they're talking about, as you might expect, greater long-term opportunities for.
The Biden administration would not allow a water colossus.
They wouldn't?
No, absolutely
You think this is a deal that conceivably would have faced significant antitrust?
This could raise your water bill. Absolutely. Having been had that used that company for my water, they can raise your water bill. Absolutely.
Long-term EPS and DPS growth of 7 to 9% for the combined company is what they're talking about.
I think they're responsible.
Also talking about being, and again, this is from the release, more resilient, improved credit quality, stronger balance sheet.
Yeah.
Finally, Trian, the fund known as an activist, Nelson Peltz, has been a long-term holder of Janus, and now
Gold looks like it's going to dip at open.
With the P from General
we'll
Catalyst,
see.
they make a bid for what they don't own. They own around 20%.
Let me see.
A little over 20%. Yeah. So they say, hey, we want to buy 46.
Maybe it'll dip
Confirmed
and
by
rip.
Janus. They've received the
Can't
the
tell.
acquisition proposal. Take a look at the stock. First disclosed the investment back in October of 2020. That is when they first, that is Trian first disclosed they owned a significant amount. There have been thoughts that they were trying to force a merger as well along the way, more consolidation amongst the asset gathering. Yes. So that's it. Now, that said, guys, there's a lot of talk out there. I mean, to the points you've been making this morning, Jim, in terms of the deregulatory environment and what is seen for many industries, at least, as a more generous path in terms of a wider path towards getting deals done. I am hearing a lot of things, and I have, there seem to be high expectations.
We got 10 minutes, boys.
That this year is going to end with even more.
Thank you, it's overbought, so I don't know, I might want to short. Don't know what to do. Yeah, I think I'll just short for now. Catch a dip at open.
Order submitted.
And
Small
there's a lot of
sizing.
financing associated with them as well. So I don't know. I'm going to actually try and break a story for the first time, and I don't even know how long in the next few weeks.
Your self-deprecation.
Morning, bud.
Nothing.
No, it's true. I haven't broken a big merger in, I don't know, decades, years. Oh yeah, Warner. I guess, yeah. What?
He broke Warner last week.
Order filled.
I took profit.
Order submitted.
I mean, like,
Scare.
What? Nobody had any idea.
Nobody knew. Like Murdoch and
Like
and
when
the Journal.
that's right. He remembers. He was angry that day.
So I'm walking
Right.
down the street, they called me. I was
$60 a share, Dow Jones, like that kind of thing.
That was the heyday. It was the heyday.
That
They
was
say that about
Yeah, I don't like too long when it's freaking all-time high, and then I'm scared a short is gonna keep pumping. I don't know. This market sucks.
You're a legend. A legend. I mean, it's the legends. If you go to the Yankees, legends. Just like Babe Ruth. I mean, he's not playing well anymore.
So we're gonna put you out there past the bullpen.
Yeah,
People can go by your
in like a light blazer.
a little monument.
Legend. I'd rather be an active legend. I never
Tie.
had.
By the way, speaking of the bank M&A, we will talk to Huntington in the 11 a.m. hour. Yes, 11:15.
Try to get him going a little. You know, some of his Ohio
He
teams
was
are
just
okay.
on. We were just asking him about deals.
Some of the Ohio teams are okay, but he doesn't have a professional team where he is. But, you know, don't give up on Ohio. Miles Garrett had 5 sacks. Oh, they did lose. But it's okay.
We'll get Kramer's Mad Dash countdown to the opening bell in a minute.
At Baird, we offer a unique perspective on wealth management.
From making your tax burden less of a burden to estate and trust strategies that protect your loved ones.
When the focus is on you, it makes all the difference.
Most multivitamins only make it halfway through your GI tract. If key nutrients are absorbed too early in the digestive process, your body can't access their full benefits. Seed's DMO2 Daily Multivitamin is different. Its revolutionary capsule-in-capsule system transports essential vitamins and minerals throughout the GI tract and all the way to your colon, where key
So we
nutrients
got
are needed
Facebook
to fuel daily
Wednesday
function. Don't go
pre-market, I
halfway on your
think,
health. Nourish your
and
whole body with
Alphabet.
the multivitamin that goes the distance. Visit seed.com to start DMO2 Daily Multivitamin today.
A heart attack? Do they have life insurance?
No.
But we have life insurance. John.
I'm trying to find something we can afford.
Fortunately, in only a few minutes, SelectQuote found John a
It's a better
$500,000
one.
policy for only $29 a month, and his wife Anne a $500,000 policy for only $21 a month. Go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs.
At a price you can afford. Select Quote. We shop, you save.
Is this how you're hoping to retire? Well, hope isn't a good retirement strategy. You've worked for a comfortable retirement for years. Now you need to plan for retirement income. Learn ways to avoid common mistakes.
Stop being a bear
like
mountain.
being too conservative or not setting retirement goals. Have someone on your side to keep you on track.
Call for Fisher's Comfortable Retirement Kit with the help you need to make your retirement a success, including the Investor's Guide to a Comfortable Retirement, 13 retirement blunders to avoid, and maximize your Social Security. Call 1-800-759-4477.
Fisher tailors a plan to keep you on track for a retirement you want. And as a fiduciary, we do better when our clients do better.
Call now for your Comfortable Retirement Kit. Call 1-800-759-4477.
Call us today. You don't have it coming to you unless you plan for it.
If your portfolio is $1 million or more, call 1-800-759-4477.
We'll have to alert suppliers, coordinate shipments.
Already alerted, already coordinated.
Since when can we just scale up mid-cycle?
Since we brought in BDO.
People who know BDO.
Earnings season on CNBC takes you inside the numbers. And when the CEOs have a big announcement, they come here first.
A wild hour of earnings.
Earnings season. Special coverage all this month on CNBC.
All right, 7 minutes before we get started with the first opening bell of the week, and here's our first mad dash. You know, we don't talk that often about Berkshire, the stock.
No, we don't. It's really interesting you say that because we know, I was going to call him a legend. I'm worried about that legend.
He's beyond legend.
Okay, yes. But Warren Buffett's obviously the best investor of our time. Today, Keith Brewett downgrades Berkshire Hathaway to a sell. They're talking about Geico, the big insurance company, maybe that their underwriting margin is peaked. We saw bad numbers from Progressive last week, which you could say is similar. They're talking about fully short-term interest, so all that money that he's got, not gaining the big interest rate. And now get this, David. Burlington Northern inflation-adjusted.
I do think we're gonna dip. I honestly do think that. So I'm gonna
Order filled.
do a short.
Order canceled.
Try to get a deal.
Hopefully we lose
Order
800.
submitted.
No, from CSX. I mean, obviously with Burlington and Norfolk getting together, first transcontinental merger. It's got a ways to go. There's plenty of things to go through, but the expectation is that deal will happen. Right. And the question has been, why wouldn't Berkshire/Burlington want to try to pursue a similar deal with CSX?
And that is, to me,
Order
the crux,
submitted.
not the insurance issues. You might
Order
call it
filled.
Geico, and they're big natural gas, and they're worried about natural
Order
gas credits.
submitted.
But, David, I think that when I heard that they said no to what I thought was the most obvious deal in the world under this new administration, it
Order
made me
submitted.
think, are they in the game?
Order
Are they in
filled.
the game, or are they just making money off of interest and
Order
and,
submitted.
living on Geico and the natural gas? And it was worrisome because I thought that was the most easy deal in the world, particularly because once you let the other guys merge, you can get this Burlington deal done with CSX. It would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to ever say that you should
Order
sell
canceled.
Never underestimate Warren Buffett.
Order
even
submitted.
at 95 years of age.
Yeah, you don't do that. But I did think it's curious to see the stock has underperformed.
Right.
But the stock's huge.
Yeah.
But I felt that this piece was, there you go. Look at that.
We got what, 5 minutes?
But I thought the piece was devastating in the sense that, you know what, many things are moving in the wrong direction, is what they say. And at first I want to dismiss the piece, but I can't. I can't dismiss it.
Yeah, 5 minutes, boys.
Opening bell now.
I hope they dump this.
Now, don't forget, you can catch us anytime and anywhere. We have a podcast. Squawk on the Street Opening Bell podcast.
Well, we're up 1.3% on NQ.
I'm checking the markets throughout the trading session, working the phones, talking to sources,
Don't know what to
share
do.
Order
insights,
submitted.
information, and all of the details that you need to make money.
Order
Closing bell
submitted.
overtime for Eastern and streaming on CNBC Plus.
Don't want to touch gold, but it looks like gold might dip, but I can't tell.
Talk. Not right now, Dad. I need to go over my vows. Is L. Duncan going to talk to me about
setting a budget when you bet? I heard that you won that long shot parlay, but that you haven't won since. Just because you win big once doesn't mean you figured it all out.
Still need to have that talk about
Celebrating love. That is what today is all about.
At ESPN, we believe the best play is a smart play.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Welcome back to what should be a thrilling second half.
When I started Walton Goggins goggle glasses, I didn't know how to turn all this fancy prettiness into a classy-looking logo. But GoDaddy Aero does, with its magical AI powers. It not only creates it, it slaps that sweet thing everywhere.
Down, up, right, left, inside, out. Sometimes it's hard to make sense from nonsense. Go beyond the headlines. A trusted global perspective. The Economist. Know which way is up.
A heart attack? Do they have life insurance?
No.
But we have life insurance. John.
I'm trying to find something
Order
we can
canceled.
afford.
Fortunately,
nice drop.
in only a few minutes, SelectQuote found
Order
John
submitted.
a $500,000 policy for
Order
only $29
submitted.
a month. And his wife Anne a $500,000 policy for only $21 a month. Go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs.
At a price you can afford. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Nuveen invests with the foresight and vision to anticipate the needs of future generations. To build strong portfolios that deliver lasting legacies. To innovate and adapt for what's just around the corner. Because after 125 years
Let's go.
of yesterday's,
Dump it. Just drop. Look at gold dipping now. I want NQ to lose to 800. Hopefully.
Invest like the future is watching.
Order filled.
The opening bell is brought to you by Nuveen. Invest like the future is
Order
watching.
submitted.
I'm flat now.
Welcome back. This year's record run for stocks in the U.S., nothing to sneeze at, but several markets around the world are still outperforming the S&P. So far this year, the MSCI All-Country World ex-USA Index is up 26. Compare that to 15 for the S&P. Look at South Korea, up 68. Japan Nikkei, German DAX, each up more than 20. London FTSE, 18. Japan, Nikkei 50K. Besson said it was good to be there on a day where it crossed that threshold.
Look, we've got capitalism everywhere in these places. I mean, it's interesting because we have a lot of capitalism in Latin America. Look, we started things, go back to Liberation Day. That was actually like a 3-day bear market that we had, and it really set us back. Also,
Order
remember,
filled.
we've got these companies that are the nation-state companies.
Order filled.
Order filled. Of our market, and then you start
Order
going down.
Order filled.
100 of
Wow.
the S&P.
Order filled. Order filled.
It's just devastating to look at how they've done. I mean, they've created no
Order
value
submitted.
for a long period of time.
Order can't. Order
I
submitted.
don't know what those companies are doing, but man, they got to shake it up.
always is worth mentioning that 10 stocks are
Order filled.
Order filled.
Right.
10.
And they are great stocks, and those are our real marks.
Let's get the opening.
Order filled. Order filled.
It's Florida-based Optimum Bank celebrating
Order submitted. Order canceled.
cybersecurity
That was
provider
fun.
Fundednext. Speaking of which, Jim, this week
Order
it's 36%
submitted.
of the S&P
Caught that
reporting,
short,
but
so
it's
that was pretty good.
45% of market cap.
Yeah,
to your
it's
point.
incredible. I got a piece in front of me. Apple, JP Morgan, just talking about how, look, it's going to be a good number.
Order filled. Order filled.
Most important piece
Order
is the
submitted.
piece which hasn't underperformed, and when they did the underperform, they really crushed the stock.
Order
Now
submitted.
they're starting to hedge themselves.
Order
China's
submitted.
strong. That's a new one. They got
Order
I think
submitted.
they got everything wrong here, and not to pick on them, but they really
Order
got a lot of
submitted.
people out of the stock. In the meantime, Nvidia, David, 4 trillion, big meeting tomorrow.
Order
Jensen Huang,
submitted.
Washington, GTC. These companies just keep moving. There's a piece this morning.
Order
Regis
submitted.
talking about how
6
great
trillion. Wait,
Google's
what's going
doing.
on? Tell people what's going on in Washington.
Jensen Huang speaking.
Yes.
Order filled.
Well, you know,
Order
he
submitted.
does a visionary keynote. He'll talk about the Feynman.
Order submitted.
That's the next ship after Vera Rubin, the Richard Feynman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. When I read his book,
Order canceled. Order submitted.
I don't know if you read his stuff at all, Feynman.
No, I read The Making of the Atomic Bomb, and that was tough enough.
Order filled.
That was tough enough.
Okay.
Order
All right.
filled.
But anyway, I mean,
Woo!
Apple is good. You got good news possibly.
Order
from
submitted.
tomorrow from Nvidia. Yeah, this Microsoft piece, the
Order
monopoly piece. I
submitted.
mean, you just keep reading great things about these big cap companies. Broadcom
Order
is
submitted.
it's Google and Broadcom that Melius did. I mean, Broadcom is a huge company that we never talk about.
Well, we don't never talk about it, but you're right. It's actually hitting 1.7 trillion in market cap.
Real
So it
competitors.
is one of those 10 that I mentioned.
Keep dropping,
that
baby.
make up more than 40% of the S&P. Yeah, at 1.7
So why
trillion.
don't you mention that Amazon hasn't done
Up
anything? I'm waiting for you to slag
56%
Amazon.
this year is Broadcom.
Order
The
submitted.
Avago.
Amazon slag. You want to slag Amazon?
But you know what? No, I don't want to slag. I want to stay on Broadcom
everybody
for a
else?
moment because
Okay.
obviously they're a key beneficiary of deals with OpenAI and others in terms of chip design. But they do have software companies as well as a part of that. As a part of the company, and there is this continued question as to whether the rise of
Order
agentics in some
submitted.
way is going to put pressure on certain software businesses.
Looks
or
choppy.
whether it's simply going to be additive somehow.
No one thinks VMware is under pressure because the last quarter for VMware was quite good, their software business. And Hock was like trying to get, Hock Tan, the CEO, was trying to get me to say, listen, don't forget VMware. It's really coming together.
Order
But I totally
submitted.
agree. That was the big rap against Salesforce. ServiceNow reports this week, and people think that Bill McDermott has skated past this AI challenge.
Right, that they all are going to ultimately, they figured
Right,
it
that
out.
he's been able to
that they
figure out
replace,
AI.
They replace your, it's not per seat anymore, it's just you're paying
Well, I mean, you know,
for an agent in some way that does all the things that a person would do.
Well, Michael Dell gave, he was part of this whole effort along with Laura Albert from Williams-Sonoma and Rick Smith, the son of the late Fred Smith at FedEx, and then the team from Pepsi, all demonstrated why the revenues are going up, but their expenses are going down by using agentics for Mark, and that caused the stock to pop 15.
Which, Carl, gets back to an interesting story today that I'm sure you saw about J.P. Morgan or Walmart in the Journal about all these companies that have no plans to hire, even though they have plenty of plans to continue to grow.
Yeah, Joel's not been moving much. NQ's okay. It's not much movement.
More big companies believe they can grow without hiring. And then another piece on how renters, the Journal
Order
argues, have the
filled.
upper hand and are probably going to keep it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. Well, that was a bullish piece.
Order
look, there's
filled.
something wrong. We had rates go down.
No, I'm
and
flat
new home
now.
build was bad.
Everything's
How's
green.
That is new.
Order
that the rates
submitted.
Go down, new homes, but really interesting series being run in the FT about the town of Bethlehem, which has got home to a bunch
Not
of really
big
good
green, but
colleges
it's
and a lot of
okay.
young people who
Order
this is what they
submitted.
talk about. This is what they talk about is are there jobs because of AI? AI is lurking larger than AI.
Order canceled.
And it is making people think maybe I can't be a
Order
finance pro
submitted.
or woman, you know.
Looks like NQ on a breakdown.
Computer programmer.
Yep, there she goes.
Writing code, which is,
Remember, that was like what you had to do.
of course, for many years. We've talked about this many times. We'll continue
And lose the 800 soon, too.
Coming back into vogue.
Right, yeah, call me
I've
Ishmael.
always believed that critical thinking was important part of being a human being.
Is that replacing critical
thinking.
metals? Which is more important, critical thinking or critical metals?
Critical thinking, always more important.
What's new? Why does JD have to say these grand
Let me see if the bot's gonna go short or not. No, bot's not gonna go short yet.
Jamie Dimon, $1.5 trillion initiative to invest in America, right?
Yeah, invest in America. It's critical.
Why are you bringing this up?
Because it's the year of magical investing.
Oh, okay.
That drove stocks up big, and then there's nothing to it. Tricolor. Hey, so we got
Order
send out the
order
message.
filled.
It's not tricolor.
Order
It's
submitted.
tricolor.
It's tricolor.
The whole model was catering to Hispanics largely.
Order
Who
canceled.
wanted to buy a nicer car than, yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Order
And a lot of
submitted.
different businesses that have catered to that
It
population.
wants to lose the 800. It's trying to.
Constellation, for
Come on.
example,
What is
just
it,
because
First Brandy?
they're not Say again?
First Brandy?
First Brandy?
I never heard of First Brands until they brought down the American banking system.
They did not, will you stop it?
Hey, you know what?
We've moved on from that.
Order filled.
Isn't it amazing?
Order submitted.
It's early. Let's see. Private credit will continue to get a focus. I mean, the stocks, you're right. Some of them have come back a bit. I'm taking a look here. You've got the alternative asset managers actually performing.
Yeah, I'm never looking at gold.
In the first
Order
5
filled.
minutes of trading.
I think Rowan's a smart
Apollo
guy.
up 2%.
Order
that actually
submitted.
gets me to a deal. Let me talk about
Order
it.
canceled.
That has to do with a
Are you
deal
doing
that.
Yes.
You and I criticized a good amount at the time.
Totally.
You really were brutal.
Oh, I took it apart.
And it was terribly received by investors as well.
Pete's.
I'm talking about Keurig Dr. Pepper's plan to split the company. They bought Pete's, all that stuff. So just to remind, right? Acquisition of Pete's, subsequent split into Global Coffee and
Order
beverages, which we
submitted.
laugh at because
I thought coffee was a beverage. I didn't know that.
coffee's not a
Order
beverage. It's
submitted.
coffee.
Yeah. Well, hey.
And then there's
Burger runs
beverages.
on,
But
I don't
I'm
know, gasoline.
focused in part on this. We don't need to have Bloomberg tell us this. It's in a press release, guys. But fine, we can also just credit Bloomberg. Why not? Give them more publicity. They need it.
They won a lot of awards at the...
Something you went to? There it is. $7 billion financing package, right? And there it is, Apollo and others. It's a preferred. It's being treated as equity. One of the concerns amongst investors was the amount of leverage at this company, and this is going to have the effect of taking that leverage down by
Order
one turn
filled.
to 4.6% upon the close
Order
of the acquisition.
submitted.
That is expected in the first half of next year. And then it will be split up into the $4 billion for Global Coffee. That is the actual proceeds from this financing. That's a lot of money, $7 billion. Yeah. Again, it's coming in as a preferred, so not as debt, but as equity, and having the impact of actually reducing overall leverage, seen perhaps as a positive. You can take a look at how the stock's performing. They also reported earnings, Jim, third quarter 2025 results. They raised their full-year net sales outlook and reaffirmed guidance.
Dr. Pepper's good. Coca-Cola's
Order
good.
canceled.
PepsiCo, what's going
Stock's
on?
actually performing
People
well.
decided they don't want to. They
Order canceled.
willing to drink bad stuff again.
Order filled.
I suppose.
Potato chips. They will.
Order
again,
submitted.
That kind of goes back to the importance,
Hey,
obviously,
I'm back up.
of all of the
Crazy.
alternative asset managers, not to
thought that was
mention private
amazing.
credit.
They
This is
got
not a private credit deal per se, but and the importance. The most important place they
Order
play, though,
filled.
continues to be
Order
in the
submitted.
incredible number of data centers that are at least on the drawing board, plans for them, the power that's going to come to them that is going to fuel our AI future. That is where you're really seeing private credit play big. By the way, did you see that bond deal that Oracle did late last week? $30
Order canceled.
billion.
Thank you.
That's
Order
the
submitted.
numbers just continue to be staggering in every
Order
way.
filled.
It's being raised.
What's going to be the next $1 trillion company that knocked Oracle out? My thinking.
It
Order
I didn't like that
submitted.
bond deal.
Why not? Why do you
It's
like it?
huge. Who wants that much debt?
How are they going to finance? They got to finance all the stuff they're going to be building that OpenAI is going to be paying them $50 billion, $60 billion a year for.
They got to go to Mark Rowan. They got to go to Paul.
Well,
Order submitted.
private credit is in there.
Yeah.
And by the way, as I've mentioned many times, many of these deals where the underlying tenant
Order
is
submitted.
a Meta are great deals because the credit is a great one in the sense of Meta's going to pay for the lease, and it also has the impact of understating
Order
the overall
submitted.
capex because Meta treats that, for example, as opex. When in fact, really, it's just them having another data center that's powering their
Order
potential
filled.
needs when it comes to AI.
It's not all debt driven though. Apollo with a great chart today, looking at
Order submitted.
hyperscalers.
Order
60%
canceled.
of operating cash flow now going to
Look,
capex.
the only one I'm worried about, and I've been assured
Order
by
submitted.
Hogtan is one of the toughest guys in the world not to worry about the Oracle. It's fine.
Go, baby.
Hogtan is,
Drop that
I
hoe.
think it's fair to say he's quiescent on the future.
Yes,
He's a believer. He's not concerned. And obviously, at a $1.7 trillion value, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
You know, David, you mentioned quiescent.
Yes.
A word I really like.
Sure.
Did you notice the Organon quiescent? How they were questioning to the CEO for a while there. This may be the worst stock ever. I'm initiating the worst stock ever.
Organon.
Get this. Okay, so it was spun off from Merck June 2nd of 2021. Okay. The CEO lost his job this weekend. We see they got the audit committee looked into it. They were stuffing the channel, according to their own key team, by the beginning of the fourth quarter of 2022. And they stuffed the third and fourth quarter of 2024 and the first, second, and third quarter of 2025. This was the world's stuffing machine.
Order filled.
I'm reading this. I'm saying you mean you were stuffing
Order
the channel
submitted.
like 1 year after it got spun off?
What does this company do?
Well, it's a second-rate.
Order canceled. Order submitted.
Okay.
Order filled. Order
No,
filled.
I'm not kidding. This thing was spun out by Merck. Everyone told me it was cheap, and then they had a good dividend. Next to the audit committee, I mean, it's not that.
Order canceled. Order filled.
Nice drop, baby.
Put
Let's
in a new
go.
CEO, but I think that when you're stuffing the channel, now they don't use the term stuff the channel. They say
Order
that,
submitted.
The company, the wholesalers got a little more than they wanted.
Not good.
Order
Worst
canceled.
company. Worst company. Yeah.
Worst company? It's
Worst
getting
company.
the worst
It
company.
may be the
Like
worst
if
company.
you had
Order
a wall of
submitted.
shame for companies.
Oh my God, this is
Well,
like
he does
a
have
special
that, doesn't he?
Well, I
annex.
think it's mostly for CEOs,
It's
is it?
this is an annex right here. This is the Legends Committee.
Order filled.
Well, they started off with a terrible name.
Organon?
Organon.
Yeah, I thought it was like Rhiannon.
I mean, what is
Organon.
that?
Flowers for Organon?
Yeah,
Organon.
Yeah, Versant.
Come work for Organon. Who's gonna want? Really? No, I'm not gonna work for Organon. I'd rather work for Versant.
You gotta release
Order
stop it.
submitted.
You gotta release
Much
this
better
release
name.
though. The release is incredible
No, I'm not
because
gonna
I've been shorting on those pump on
nobody
NQ.
wanted their stuff. Sorry.
Not touching
We
go though.
actually are going to hear from Merck on Thursday on this busy week of earnings.
Rob Davis, candidly, nothing to do with this. Just
Right.
Nothing.
There's a good note out of Goldman today. Costin, speaking of quality names, Jim, have underperformed dramatically. Goldman's argument today is if the economy's accelerating and the Fed's cutting, there's no good reason to move back into quality, especially with short interest as high as it is.
There isn't. Look, I just worry all the time. When I got up this morning, I said, all right, which one? They're going to take up the quantums. They'll go down with the critical minerals because they're replaced by critical reasoning?
Yes, critical thinking is
Critical
important.
thinking.
Yes,
But the
and
critical
it's what you
minerals
get
are
with
down
being an
because
English
of the
major.
possible
Yes.
deal with China, but the quantums are up again. They can't stop. By the way, anything data center, the other data centers.
If it pumps again, I'm gonna short
Yeah,
again.
we still need a breakthrough in physics, I think, for quantum to be what
Yeah,
everybody seems to think it can be, right?
Even when you have the quantum companies on, I put them on, and they're very earnest. They would admit that.
Right.
Yeah, and the winner will probably most likely be Google.
Or IBM.
I thought you were going to say
IBM.
Yeah.
IBM had great stuff. IBM, the first day the stock was down. And then the second day there was a lot of percolation about this kind of stuff. And then IBM soared.
Guys, I did want to get to Tesla, stock of which is up 2.5%. Robin Denholm, the company's chairman, was a guest on Squawk Box this morning.
Yeah.
They're in the midst right now of a very important campaign to convince shareholders to vote in favor of the pay
Oh, you
package
short
that the
go?
company,
Go
has
looks like
put
it's gonna
before
drop some more,
shareholders to be
yeah.
voted on.
Let me see.
November 6th is when they're having their meeting. It will
15
be
minutes
voted
on
essentially
go.
during the
It
course
looks
of
like it's
of the
gonna
5th.
bounce on a
And
15
prior to
minutes. So
that, but we may know the results.
short term is gonna dip.
Going into that meeting on the 6th.
I don't want to
Denholm
touch
is
go
out
right now.
there Talking to shareholders, talking to them.
Yeah,
as you might
NQ is just
expect, through
chopping.
our air as well. Here's at least sort of some brief comments that
I've
she
been
made this
shorting
morning
like
in terms of
840,
that performance
845
plan,
on
which,
NQ.
as you may have heard, could amount to as much as
Yeah,
$8.5
they joining for the LucidDirect giveaways. That's why.
Is that right? That is right.
Order
right?
filled.
When I say the number, I'm like, I can't even be right. Here's what she said in
Order
terms of why it makes
submitted.
sense.
It's a performance plan. If he doesn't perform against the milestones, both in terms of the market cap and the operational milestones, he actually gets nothing. He doesn't get any salary or any equity unless he actually performs and achieves the milestones that are in the plan.
So he's got to get an $8.5 trillion market cap for the company to hit all of the milestones. By the way, it does bring me back. Remember, we're still in the midst of waiting to hear from the Delaware Supreme Court in terms of its ruling on Chancellor McCormick's ruling that his pay package, voted, by the way, by shareholders
Order
twice
filled.
in favor of. This is the new package we're looking at here, in terms of what he would get and the market cap milestones that they need to reach. But his
Order submitted. Order
2018
filled.
award is
Order
still
filled.
worth $125 billion.
Order submitted.
There it is, in value to him right now, based on where the stock is.
Order
And
submitted.
also, what seems to be a real focus for Musk is not just the economics, but his percentage of ownership. If, in fact, the Delaware Supreme Court overrules Chancellor McCormick, allows that 2018 plan to go into effect,
Order
he
filled.
would get as high as, I think, 19% ownership.
Order
and
submitted.
then with what you just saw, the new plan, if he were able to take Tesla's market value to $8.5 trillion, he'd get well over 25%. That's a key area for Musk. He's made that very clear, that he wants to have at least 25% economics and vote for the company as it moves even more strongly into AI, robotics, and automation, obviously, of the automobiles.
That's a nice little bounce on gold.
Order filled.
Well, look, I always come back to the fact that it is no longer a
Order
car company.
submitted.
There were many pieces. Adam Jonas today. Now, Stephen King, Adam Jonas, because the guy is pumping out stuff like at an incredible rate. Makes you feel very much like, stop thinking about it as a car company. You just can't. Full self-driving, robotaxi, and robot.
filled.
And it didn't hurt that they had the robot in Times Square. I mean, it is a great
Order
store.
submitted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Order submitted.
It is. Guys, taking it completely away now, back to the land of media, and I'm not going to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery right now.
Order
Not too much
canceled.
to add on that, at least
Order
at this
filled.
point. But related. Say again?
Order
Yeah,
submitted.
No surprise, Sony not interested in Warner Brothers Discovery. I'm talking now about Taylor Sheridan, the incredibly successful
Order
director,
submitted.
writer, and producer of shows that have
Order submitted.
been really the engine behind much of what's gone on at Paramount Plus. We're talking obviously Yellowstone, the sequels and prequels, Landman, you name it. Now those shows
Order
will stay
filled.
on Paramount, but he's got a new deal, and I can confirm this in the reporting of others as
Order
well.
submitted.
With Peacock and with NBC Universal. To move over to that company, begin work on new shows. Obviously, he will continue to fulfill his
Order
contractual
canceled.
obligations that are in
Order
existence
filled.
with Paramount, but
Order
on new
submitted.
shows. For different numbers here, some of which get into
Order submitted.
the billions potentially. That would be if he was incredibly successful at producing a
Order
series
filled.
of hits
Order
for
filled.
Peacock. So I'm not going to
Order
share all the
order
numbers I
filled.
have with him and with David Glasser,
Order
who runs
submitted.
101 Studios, which is the producer.
Order canceled.
filled.
Nice.
Order
Also
filled.
their movies and the like.
Order
As you take
submitted.
a look, but incredible success
Order
there, and
submitted.
an important moment for Peacock as it continues to try to gain relevance
Order
and
filled.
grow its subscriber base. I did ask David
Order
Ellison,
submitted.
Paramount Skydance's CEO, about the risk of losing Sheridan when we did an interview back at the close of their deal to acquire Paramount not too long ago. Take a listen. What about Taylor Sheridan? Obviously, such an important part of Paramount Plus in terms of so many shows that he's created for you. You know, my understanding is he may have the opportunity to go elsewhere should he decide to do that. Finish up everything he owes to you. Is that a risk for you guys? Have you spoken to Mr. Sheridan about his future plans?
So I have a really good relationship with Taylor, and I think he is literally a singular genius and content creator. I mean, when you look at him, he literally has a perfect track record. And so from that standpoint, I'm thrilled that we have an exclusive deal with him through 2028.
Order canceled.
And my goal is to have Taylor call
Order
Paramount
submitted.
his home for as long as he wants to be telling stories.
Well, that's not going to be the case. Not having an impact on the shares of Paramount Skydance right now, only down less than 0.25%.
But how about Comcast?
Comcast shares are up.
There you go.
Comcast shares are up, inching
Game
closer
plan.
and closer to that key $30 level.
Now you get a game plan. You want a game plan. This guy's town. Maybe you go with an all-talent game plan.
All-talent game plan. But and again,
All-talent game plan.
if in fact he's incredibly successful, the numbers will be astounding. Let me just leave it at that. And that would be to have as many as 10 or 15 long-running shows, perhaps the longest-running shows that Peacock has, to get to the numbers that I've heard about. But by the way, being well compensated on an annual basis, regardless. Very well compensated.
Order submitted.
We talked about him last week. Yes, we did.
Order canceled.
Who?
Order submitted.
Taylor Sheridan, his movie, yeah.
Fantastic.
As we go to break, it's going to be busy today. We're getting two auctions, a 2-year and a 5-year this afternoon. Of course, all setting up for the Fed meeting later on this week. As we said, yields have been pretty steady here with the 10-year still holding 4. Stay with us.
The Bond Report is brought to you by PIMCO, a global leader in active fixed income.
If there's one thing I've learned over 3 decades of investing, it's this. What you don't own matters just as much as what you do. That's why I've always been drawn to the idea of upgrading your portfolio, replacing overhyped
Yeah, it's
or
boring
outdated
now.
positions
It's
with
just
stronger,
chop.
lesser-known opportunities. It's the thinking behind a strategy
know what to
I've
do.
come to rely on, one I call
840 to 845. I like the short, but it's gone now.
Author and futurist, I've shown my followers how to move out of big name, well-loved stocks that are on the verge of melting down and into ones with the potential to deliver serious upside. It's the strategy that helped me win the Portfolios with Purpose investing competition, beating out some of the most respected names on Wall Street and outperforming the market by more than tenfold. And it's the same kind of thinking that's helped me build a long-term track record, including 41 recommendations that have gone on to return 1,000% or more. I put together a brand new free presentation where I walk through some of my latest sell this, buy that pair trades. These calls are a little contrarian, I'll be the first to admit that. But if you're open to viewing the markets through a different lens, here's a quick preview of what you'll see I'm recommending today when you visit the website right here on your screen. Sell Amazon. Buy a little-known e-commerce company that's much like buying Amazon in 2005. Sell Bank of America. Buy an online fintech platform that's capturing an entirely new generation of banking customers. Sell Tesla. Buy a little-known robotics company that's already miles ahead of Tesla in the AI robotics race. Each of these trade ideas comes with the full name, ticker, and analysis on our website at no cost. Or simply open the camera on your phone and point it at the QR code you see on your screen right now. When you do, I've got a total of 7 free sell this, buy that recommendations, including names, tickers, and analysis, waiting for you at no cost.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd have to use life insurance with Ethos. It is so fast and easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage.
Check your price today at ethos.com.
This is my coffee shop. We just moved into a bigger space, brought on another employee, and ordered new branded gear for the team. It was so easy. I just chose my products, added our logo, and placed my order. Bring your own team together with custom gear. Get started today at custominc.com.
Every Monday and Tuesday, the NBA is on NBC and Peacock. Peacock NBA Monday, NBA Coast to Coast Tuesday. Every week, all season long.
Watch Apple today. The magic number 269.53 would take you to $4 trillion in market cap. You can see we're not that far away as we get earnings later in the week. All-time highs across the board again with the VIX below 16. Don't go anywhere.
Crypto staking just hit Wall Street. For the first time ever, staking rewards are available through a US-listed ETF. Introducing SSK, the Rex Osprey Sol plus staking ETF. Solana exposure with staking rewards built in. Convenient, cost-effective. Solana, staked on your behalf. All through a simple ETF. SSK from Rex Osprey.
Order
Not suitable
filled.
for all investors. Investors should carefully review the fund's prospectus for objectives, risk, charges, and expenses. Visit rexshares.com to obtain it and read carefully before investing. Distributed by Foresight Fund Services.
Morning, guys.
Why is Jeff Bridges here?
I'm starting to
Order
be
filled.
Order commercial. Teach me
Order
some,
submitted.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17
Order
Pro
submitted.
on them. It's the most pro iPhone yet.
So you can't teach that. Or can you? You can save up to 20% versus the other big guys. And see.
At T-Mobile, get iPhone 17 Pro on us.
Order
Plus,
filled.
save up to 20% when you check the math.
Order filled.
Order filled.
CNBC's Delivering
Order
Alpha
submitted.
returns. A live event with exclusive access to the world's best investors. Get your tickets now at deliveringalpha.com.
Order
A Chewy
filled.
here is on the way for Jaws, who never lets go of what he loves.
Order
So
submitted.
Dad uses Chewy to get him everything he needs to keep loving life. One mouthful at a time.
Order
for low
filled.
prices. For life with pets, there's Chewy.
Order submitted.
We started
Order
a climbing
filled.
gym to bring a safe place for youth.
Later this year, Rox is taking his biggest
Yeah,
climbing
ain't
trip
going back
ever.
up.
It'll be the hardest
Close to
climb
all-time
any of
high
us has
coming up.
ever attempted.
Order
Either you
submitted.
succeed or you fail. As a
climber, you fail all the time. Oh.
I've never experienced anything
Order filled.
like the Memphis Rocks crew.
Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted. Order canceled. Order filled. Order filled.
Order filled.
Nice little dip again.
Let's get to Jim and stop trading.
Charitable trust name Honeywell, absolutely fabulous piece.
Order
RBC
submitted.
Capital talking about the breakup. The stock started moving
Order
last
filled.
week. What I thought was most interesting was we forget that GE, when they announced the breakup, dramatically
Order
underperformed
submitted.
until you got very close to the actual breakup date. And David, we should be talking about this some days, but if you don't feel like when you split up companies right now, it's not working. No, it just takes a long time for it to work. So I like this piece. I would tell people this is what it means.
That 845 is still a good short I've been doing. Just scalping a few points.
And aerospace. And I just encourage people, don't get discouraged when companies break up. It's just it takes a long time.
Order filled.
Doing a terrific job. So Larry Culp did for GE.
Order
like
submitted.
Right. RTX, a few others at play.
RTX. And yet, what a winner. So people don't have patience, and yet patience is rewarded when they split these companies up.
Jim, busy week ahead.
Oh, my.
We'll see you tonight.
I can't wait.
Mad Money, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, as we are holding 68.50 this morning. Don't go anywhere.
CBIZ. Your company started in the kitchen.
Hello?
Now it has
Order
3.
submitted.
Your team of 5 grew to an army of 500. And that's your logo, right there in marble.
Order submitted.
To grow your business from big to bigger, you
Order
need an
submitted.
advisor built for the middle market.
Our data shows that this deal works.
Interesting.
Order submitted.
Interesting.
Accounting, advisory, insurance, and more.
Yeah, it's a small
Insights
range.
into that impact.
I know how to make slick-looking goggle/glasses.
Gold still on a dip.
Order filled. Slick-looking social media stuff.
But GoDaddy Hero uses AI to
Order
create social
filled.
content
Order
out of thin air,
submitted.
like this one.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Order submitted.
When
Order
logic
filled.
Order
wanes,
filled.
when certainties shatter, when left is right
Order
and right
filled.
Order
is left,
filled.
Order
which way do you
canceled.
turn?
Order
Go beyond
filled.
the
Order
headlines,
submitted.
A trusted global perspective. The Economist. Know which way is up.
Is this your dream
Order
of retirement?
filled.
How about this sweet deal? I like
Order
fishing.
order filled.
Or is this
Order
a little more
submitted.
your style?
Order submitted.
Retiring well isn't a guarantee, it's a goal. It's easy when markets are going
Order
up.
submitted.
But what about when they're not? That's why you need this.
Call for Fisher's Retirement Survival Kit, featuring your guide to surviving market volatility, our stock market outlook, plus
Order
the Fisher
submitted.
Investments difference. 3
Order
indispensable
submitted.
guides. Yours free for calling
Order Order submitted.
1-800-213-5317.
Order canceled.
Fisher Investments' disciplined
Order
approach
submitted.
will help see you through the market's ups and downs and give you the confidence you need to reach a comfortable retirement. And our fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Call now for your free retirement survival kit. 1-800-213-5317.
See if your dream retirement is on track.
If your portfolio is $1 million or more, call Fisher today. Call 1-800-213-5317.
Crypto staking just hit Wall Street. For the first time ever, staking rewards are available through a US-listed ETF. Introducing SSK, the Rex Osprey Sol plus staking ETF. Solana exposure with staking rewards built in. Convenient, cost-effective. Solana, staked on your behalf. All through a simple ETF. SSK from Rex Osprey. Not suitable for all investors. Investors should carefully review the
I'm watching CNBC stock news. Let me see.
Order filled.
I'm in the trade. Give me a second.
Never miss a moment.
To have companies, public
Order
companies
filled.
reporting every 6 months in a full-scale reporting parameter would work well. I don't think there's a lot of difference between transparency twice a year and transparency every quarter.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Credit quality for us still looks
Order
very strong.
filled.
Order filled.
filled.
Order filled.
We just don't see it happening yet.
AI doesn't change the world until it changes the daily life of
It's Squat Box on the street.
Most consumer apps are AI.
It's on CNBC.
Order submitted.
Good Monday Great morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with Leslie Picker and David Faber live at Post 9.
Order filled.
There we go. Look at that drop. Oh yeah.
Saudi Arabia for the country's annual investment conference. Meantime, record highs across the board, building on Friday's records as well. Most sectors are green. Some defensives are on the back foot. Materials, healthcare, and staples are red, and yields are pretty steady. Today, the case against superintelligence. We'll talk to a professor who signed a petition to ban advanced AI, says unchecked advancements are like playing Russian roulette.
Order filled.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Stocks jumping this morning as optimism builds around a China trade deal. Analyst Stacey Raskin
Order
will join us to
submitted.
break down the companies that might benefit the most from a better relationship between Washington and Beijing.
Order filled.
Speaking of
Order
the chips,
submitted.
got some breaking news this morning out of Qualcomm, and for that we'll turn
Order
to Christina
submitted.
Nevelos. Morning, Christina.
Good morning, Carl. Well, Qualcomm just announced it's taking
Order
on
filled.
NVIDIA and AI chips, a massive pivot for a company that built its
65.
empire on smartphones. So they're
Order
launching
submitted.
new data center AI
Strong
chips
market.
starting in 2026, and they also just announced their first major
Order
customer.
filled.
That would be
Order
Saudi-backed
canceled.
AI startup Humane, targeting roughly 200 megawatts
Order
of
submitted.
capacity starting in 2026. So they're not essentially going after AI training. That's the market that made NVIDIA worth over $4 trillion. Qualcomm is targeting inference. That's running AI models, not necessarily building them. So every time you use ChatGPT or generate an AI image, that's inference. So training builds the models, inference uses them billions of times a day. Qualcomm thinks the market is going to be enormous. Nearly $6 trillion, almost $7 trillion in data center spending is expected through 2030, according to McKinsey. And so just capturing about 5 to 10%, maybe just even 5% of that market would transform Qualcomm's business. Their products are complete server systems based on their
Order
Hexagon
submitted.
NPU, so that'd be neural processing unit chips, already used in billions of smartphones around the world. One key
Order
advantage, and this is where
submitted.
it gets a little technical, it's 768 gigabytes of memory per card. They're saying that's more than what NVIDIA and AMD offer in this particular rack type setting. That matters though for running larger
Order
AI
filled.
models.
Order
And so
filled.
this is where Qualcomm
Order-
hopes to compete.
order filled.
They'll sell these complete systems that you're seeing on your screen right now
Order
for,
submitted.
or also individual components. Qualcomm says even NVIDIA
Order
or AMD
submitted.
could become customers for some of their parts. But the timing really matters because, for
Order
example,
submitted.
OpenAI recently announced it's buying chips from AMD, showing big AI companies want alternatives to NVIDIA, especially within the inference market. But Qualcomm only named one customer so far. There's no pricing details. They're launching in 2026, which is years behind NVIDIA's dominance. But there's no
Crazy.
taking away from the fact that this is a big new market for Qualcomm, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, as you point out, Christina, no shortage of
Order
That's
filled.
all-time high on
obviously
NQ
AMD
now.
and NVIDIA, but others as well. And we, sometimes I don't think we talk enough about the fact that
Order
Alphabet,
submitted.
I mean, their TPU is for inference
incredible.
as well, right?
Right.
And
Order
gives them
submitted.
potentially a leg up to a certain extent. This is kind of a different subject.
Or-
but on
order
a cost per
filled.
token
Order filled.
basis
Order
in terms of
submitted.
what it costs them. And a lot of this
Order
goes back
submitted.
to that, I guess, for the hyperscalers. What is your, what's the cost per token going to be? I don't know where this thing's going to get priced and what it's going to be able to do, but that will become important.
Yeah, normally in the chip world, they refer to it as total cost of ownership, TCO, and so Qualcomm didn't provide specific details. A lot of companies, how they benchmark it is different. They're saying that the total cost of ownership will be cheaper because of the power efficiency
Order
of said
submitted.
chips, because these aren't GPUs that are using a lot more power. The NPUs and more custom-made chips tend to use a lot less, so that's going to be their selling point going forward. I'm sure in the coming months they'll reveal some more data around that. But to your point, Google really stands out. Even Jensen Huang from NVIDIA has spoken many times about just how advanced Google has become in the TPU market.
Order
and just they've
filled.
been here
Filled.
for a long time. This isn't a company that just made a chip, 5
Order
years
filled.
ago.
Order
So,
filled.
that's another company to look out for, no doubt.
Yeah. Cost
Order
per
submitted.
dollar per watt.
I know it
gets
gets
per token.
confusing. Yeah, just know.
Yeah, it's
just
all
say
about
lower
just-
cost, higher cost per
Right.
energy.
Spending
Yeah.
as little as possible for how much power you're taking in and what you're giving out, I guess, is the way to put
Exactly.
it. Christina,
See what's
thank
the
you.
next level on
Let's turn
NQ.
filled.
Order
to the
filled.
broader market now. Stocks are jumping this morning.
That's
on
it
hopes
for me.
a
I don't see
trade
no other
truce,
levels.
between the U.S. and China. This as the president
Order
travels
submitted.
through Asia. Eamon Javers has the latest
Order
for us
filled.
Order filled.
on
Order
where things stand
submitted.
with China in particular. Eamon.
Hey there, David. President Trump arrived in Japan this morning after a whirlwind weekend in Malaysia, where he reached trade and mineral deals with Malaysia and Cambodia, and he set up frameworks for trade agreements with Thailand and Vietnam. In Tokyo, the president began with a handshake and a courtesy visit with the emperor, and he'll later have a meeting with the new Japanese Prime Minister, Sana Takahashi, who is the first woman
Order
to hold that
submitted.
role. On Air Force One, President Trump spoke extensively with reporters traveling with him, but he said he didn't want to share details of what officials are calling a framework economic agreement between the U.S. and China that could be signed by President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping later this week.
Drop it.
I don't want to tell you what the understanding is, because what we understood yesterday or 2 days ago or even today is not going to be necessarily what it's going to be in 2 days. I mean, we're going to have a great talk. I have a lot of respect for President Xi. I like him a lot. He likes me a lot, I believe, and respects me, and I think he respects our country.
And speaking to NBC's Kristen Welker yesterday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sounded an optimistic note on those China negotiations, arguing that the president's tariff threat has helped to push to a deal.
President Trump gave me a great deal of negotiating leverage with the threat of the 100% tariffs on November 1st, and I believe we've reached a very substantial framework that will avoid that and allow us to discuss many other things with the Chinese.
And guys, one interesting item from Bessent's interview, he told Welker that he shares the pain of American soybean farmers who are suffering from a Chinese soybean boycott because he's a soybean farmer himself. Remember, Bessent owns between $5 and $25 million worth of farmland in North Dakota, and he rents out that land for soybean farming. He's ahead to this trade announcement with China saying that soybean farmers in particular are going to feel very good, he said, about what's going on for this season and for seasons to come when that deal is announced, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, Eamon, New York Times this morning, page 1, has a big story about the farm economy in Iowa and how they've been under pressure because of some of the policy direction. I guess my question to you is, do you think we're in a realm now where we are going to ramp up rare earths as fast as we can and rely on China to help us at least build a bridge between now and the time when that mining is productive?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, Carl. The agenda here seems to be two things at the same time. One is to try to get the Chinese to roll back these proposed export controls on rare earths so that we can secure a supply from China in the short term. And then the other is to figure out all the other places where we can get these rare earths and get rare earth processing up to speed as quickly as possible so that we're not dependent on China over the long run. So if you're Beijing looking at that two-pronged strategy, you might say, hey, wait a second, do we want to allow the U.S. to sort of get off of our supply and be able to leverage themselves into a world where they don't need us anymore? So I would say that would be the worry from the Beijing perspective. Why not use that leverage while
Order submitted.
Yeah, it really
Market
feels
getting an
like,
all-time high.
Meetings since
Gold is
Liberation
dipping
Day
bad.
shows that decoupling is not necessarily on the table
Wow.
in the immediate term. Amen. Thank you so much. Amen, Javers. The major averages back at record highs and adding to gains this morning. Let's bring in Steve Sosnick, Chief Strategist at Interactive Brokers. Steve, thank you for being here. So we got trade talks this week. We've got a Fed meeting, and we have Mag 5 earnings, with the exception, obviously, of NVIDIA and Tesla. How do you think it all shakes out on this very busy week?
Well, good morning, Leslie. I think what it's shaking out is it's telling us that the positive vibes, the momentum is really what's ruling right now. I mean, one of the surest ways that to get this market to rally is imply that there's something good going on in trade. We saw it in the first Trump administration when every morning I'd wake up and the futures would be a little higher, and the rumor would be that some trade talks were going well, even if there was no apparent trade talks actually occurring. So in this case, we're actually doing it, and you can see the market's positive response because the Asian trade talks seem to be going well, but meanwhile there was very quietly a 10% tariff on Canada, which is basically lost in the news flow. So it tells you the way the market is geared toward interpreting any trade news as good news.
Yeah, Goldman had a piece out, I believe, over the weekend focusing on the underperformance of the quality factor. It says that's in part
Order canceled.
Nice drop. There we go, baby.
Order filled. Order filled.
Oh, yeah.
Since the market low in April and has rallied more than 30% since September. Would now be a good time, you think, to get back into quality, given just all the uncertainty that's out there?
Well, first of all, we've
I like
seen
that
a lot
drop.
of action in what I would call thematic stocks.
Order submitted.
There we go, baby.
So diplomatic.
That's very, yes.
Go.
Number 2 most active stock on our platform last week was Beyond Meat, and number 5 and 6 were Rigetti and Oklo. So it tells you that there's a thematic play in question here. But actually, what's encouraging to me is the reaction that so-called quality stocks or old economy stocks had on earnings news. Coke reacted well. We saw Dr. Pepper reacting well today. So this is telling us that there is a little bit of latent demand for these things. I hate to say it because I sound like a stop clock a lot of times by saying, you never go wrong with high-quality stocks that pay a good dividend. And sometimes low vol is
Order filled.
Woo!
when
Caught
you're in
that.
sort of a momentum-driven
go.
environment, sort of to zig when the others are zagging. But right now you could more or less throw a dartboard and things are working.
But to Leslie's point about the Goldman note, they argue that actually moving back to quality might not make sense because short interest is so high, and they're counting on those guys to cover eventually.
Well, this is really the question. I mean, if you're shorter-term focus, I mean, honestly, momentum is the factor that rules, and that's really what's going on. If you're longer-term focus, I think you may want to consider whether we're getting a little bit of nosebleed at some of these levels and move into things that have, that have not been priced as aggressively.
Yeah, obviously it's a big week for earnings. We've seen a third of the S&P 500 already report. The vast majority, I believe about 87%, have beat on the bottom, although estimates have come down ever since that April time period. How would you characterize what we've seen from earnings so far, and what does that bode for the remainder of the season?
I think what's interesting to me this earnings season is how well the stocks are doing when they're doing well. I know that's sort of circular, but they're being rewarded for good news, whereas typically in most earnings season you'd get clobbered if you missed, and you get a nice bump if you gained. In this case, it's actually almost two-sided, or maybe in some cases the market's willing to overlook some stuff. Let's say in the case of Tesla, where the numbers missed and the stock ended up higher on the day anyway. So we are starting to see a more charitable approach, shall we say. What's interesting to me is I'm looking at there's a number that I watch sometimes called VIX 9D, which is the VIX, except instead of looking at 30 days, it looks at 9 days. You've laid out a case for why these 9 days could be exceptionally volatile, and yet that number was, I think, below 14, which implies pretty much nobody's really looking for a lot of fireworks, either from think about Wednesday. You have the Fed, you have Microsoft, you have Meta, you have Google. Now, in theory, they could all sort of balance each other out, potentially, but in reality, there's a lot of potential volatility that could come, and we're actually getting it. A day like today, where we're up almost 1%, that's volatility. Volatility calculations are meant to be agnostic. They don't care if you're going up or down. Volatility for people, what we're seeing today is socially acceptable volatility. What we don't want to see is a move of this magnitude on the downside. That's when I get phone calls, what went wrong.
Yeah, and we're also ending out the seasonally spooky month of October this week, which could bode well, of course, for stocks. Thank you, Steve. Really appreciate it. We're just about 30 minutes into the trading session. Here are three big movers we're watching. Novartis announcing plans to buy biotech company Avidity Biosciences for $12 billion or $72 a share in cash, citing the company's RNA therapeutics as a key driver of the acquisition. Lululemon reportedly reaching a deal to sell NFL apparel in partnership with sports merch company Fanatics. Shares there gaining about 4%. And Keurig Dr. Pepper in the green after beating revenue estimates, reaffirming full-year guidance, and in a separate release, announcing an updated financing package for its upcoming spin-out into two companies. It's beverage company, it's coffee company. Now they have Apollo, KKR in the mix with a private placement.
Yeah, $7 billion. And as to your point, this stock was crushed when they announced that deal to acquire Peet's and then split into a beverage company and a coffee company. Even that, it's kind of funny.
I know.
Like, because coffee's not a beverage, but you understand.
It's a special beverage.
Yeah. And leverage was also something that investors were not overly happy with, perhaps somewhat concerned with. And so this is coming in as a preferred, Leslie, and so we'll have the impact of reducing overall leverage by at least one turn. You can see it, 4.6 when they close the deal in the first half of next year. It's $4 billion going to the global coffee pod manufacturing JV. So it's a binding commitment letter and term sheet for $4 billion there, and then $3 billion to the beverage company from, as you said, those two private equity or alternative asset management firms.
The pro forma better for the debt load, which is something that, as you mentioned, investors were balking at before.
Meantime, our roadmap for the rest of the hour. After the break, chip stocks jumping on hopes of a better relationship between Washington and Beijing. We'll talk to analyst Stacey Raskin about the names that might benefit the most.
Plus, the case against superintelligence. We're going to talk to one expert who has signed a petition to limit AI. He says big tech companies don't even know how their own systems work.
And defending Elon Musk's $1 trillion compensation. We'll hear what Tesla board chair Robin Denholm said about why shareholders should vote for the largest total reward in history. Squawk on the Street is back after this break.
It won't be hard to find someone to fix this. But before I started Angie's List, different story. A lot has changed for us at Angie since then, but the issues facing homeowners are the same. And the solution too, skilled local pros. Get started at Angie.com.
Only the ServiceNow platform connects every corner of your business, putting AI agents to work for people.
He just went short. NQ hasn't gone short yet.
Autonomous minions that you control.
To do what?
Well, Jim's agents resolve simple customer issues, and Patty's agents flag network problems.
Proactively.
Yep.
I'm loving my agents. Wait, do you all have agents?
Oh, yeah. And on the ServiceNow platform, everyone's agents work together, so everything works better.
Could I have agents?
Maybe.
I still got one more short on, man. I just needed to dip a little bit more. There we go. Give me that. There we go. Hell yeah. I got it. I got my points for Tick-Tick.
Weeknight 6 Eastern and streaming on CNBC Plus. The next Fed decision. With 2 more Fed meetings left this year, should we expect 2 more rate cuts? How will the Fed navigate without key economic data? Powell's message to investors. Power Lunch, Wednesday 2 Eastern and streaming on CNBC Plus.
Reality check. Tough skin doesn't make you tougher. Men's self-care starts with your skin.
Omnilux Men is clinically proven and FDA cleared to help rejuvenate and hydrate the skin.
And my favorite, correct age spots. Now what really sets the men's mask apart is the addition of 1072 nanometers of near-infrared light, which is proven to penetrate deeper into men's thick skin.
Helped me a lot with wrinkles, shaving marks,
pigmentation. This red light mask is going to radically improve your skin. This has been a lifesaver.
I love it.
Look, if you're an executive, this shirt is a must-have in your closet. I was tired of floppy collars and shirts with sweat stains, so I got this shirt I saw on TV, and now I don't have to worry. I got it shipped in no time, and I switched from regular polos to this immediately. The brand is called Collars & Co. They make a regular stretchy golf shirt.
Yeah, if it go up again, I'm gonna short.
I got rid of so many problems by upgrading to this. No dry
I
cleaning
love
needed
shorting.
anymore. I'm free from uncomfortable long sleeves, and the collars
Order
stay stiff all
canceled.
day. Get 20% off today using code TV at collarsandco.com.
Welcome back. Check out Qualcomm today. 17% gain on the news that we just brought you a couple of moments ago. Company says it will take on NVIDIA and launch some new data center AI chips in 26. Joining us this morning, Stacy Raskin, Bernstein senior analyst. Stacy's got an outperform on Qualcomm, target at 185. Stacy, what a great time to have you on. I mean, what do you make of this reaction and the overall move?
Yeah, no, you bet. So today's probably a good day to announce something like this. Now, people actually forget, Qualcomm has actually sold AI accelerators for quite a while. They've had the AI 100. These look like next generation parts. So we'll see if they can compete or not. Like, I don't know, but we liked Qualcomm for a number of these reasons. I think there's a lot of option value. They're doing
gold took a big dump. Wow.
Servers for AI, CPUs.
Yeah, bot's still long on NQ. I think it was up like 50 points. I'm just waiting for a short, but gold has been short for a long time. I don't want to touch gold. 4,000 held on gold, so good call on someone saying short gold.
Maybe they weren't even aware. They've actually sold AI accelerators for years. If this is the 2nd gen or a 3rd gen part that they're now announcing, it takes time, right? But I'll take it. I'll certainly take it. The stock's been very challenging, and I think undeservedly so.
You know, Stacey, it's funny, when Christina was doing the news, stock was up about 2%. I took a look, up about 12% for the year.
Yeah.
So just to put that in perspective, in the last few minutes, it's gained well over 150% of its gain for the year. What about inference and the competition there? I know it's way early, but just give our viewers a sense as to how you see it, who the dominant providers are, and how that could change over time, and whether Qualcomm has a market share to gain here.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, so inference should be more fragmented than trading. Trading really is NVIDIA. That's kind of where it is. Most of the other players that have really been trying to push and have been trying to push into inference, because you can make the argument that some of the workloads may be more specialized, they may be more, power and everything else may be more important, and so there may be more room. Inference probably long-term is also the bigger TAM, at least it better be, right? Because if you're looking for usage and adoption, That's where
Well,
it's
one
going
more
to be.
pump so we can
I think
short it
there's a
again.
point of view that there's more room for more players to exist in inference versus trading that really has been owned by NVIDIA. And again, if the markets are as big as people think they are, it doesn't take a lot. Again, it's a small. By the way, this has been the bull case for a number of these guys. Like a very small slice of a very big pie could be big enough. Why shouldn't Qualcomm be a beneficiary of a thesis like that as well?
I mean, you also have some of these private chip companies as well. We've had a few of them on. I mean, some of it could be somewhat unproven, but what does it all mean for NVIDIA as we move? I mean, I know models will still be trained, but ultimately, to the extent that inference is going to be more competitive, is it a threat to NVIDIA's lock on the market?
Yeah. So, look, I think NVIDIA does and will do just fine in inference as well. And it's the same thing, you know, like people make these same kind of arguments between, like, for example, like GPUs and ASICs and which one's winning or losing. And I still think we're too early for that. I think the right question today is not which one's winning or losing, or is the opportunity still big or is it not? I mean, if it's still big, the pie's getting bigger. There's enough room for lots of folks to benefit. If the opportunity is not big, everybody's screwed. Right? So that's the question that you need to have confidence. I still think the opportunity is still big. I think
Go is over so now on the 3 minutes, so it might bounce, maybe, I don't know. But 4,000 is holding. NQ wants to dip.
Down a little bit, but it's still up 1.5% today. So clearly, investors don't see it as an existential threat to NVIDIA, but I'm just curious over the long term what it means for just their margins for this type of chip.
Well, again, for NVIDIA, I think the big question is not so much, you know, what are they charging? It's can they continue to improve the performance? So that, you know, their pricing is going up with every generation because their costs are going up with every generation. But they're improving performance much more. And just for an example, you went from Ampere to Hopper. The pricing basically doubled. Performance went up 10x, like no problem. You went from Hopper to Blackwell. The pricing went up, I don't know, 50%-ish, give or take. Performance went up anywhere from 3 to 30x. Again, no problem. You can pass that along. The total cost of ownership, the TCO to the customer, is getting better and better with every generation. As long as NVIDIA can keep improving performance at those kind of rates, I don't really worry about their margins. And by the way, they're aware of this too. Like they've talked about this in the past. They want to improve GPU performance by 1,000,000x over the next like 10 years. If they can do that, I don't worry.
No, we have a race today. It's not time yet.
Then I would start to worry. But that's what I'd be watching for.
Hey, finally, Stacy, is there any? Are you counting on any level of trade clarity this week that would allow you to fold in some China into NVIDIA guidance?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens here. At least for NVIDIA, China is out of the numbers. They're not. By the way, they're not selling anything to China right now. Not because of the U.S. It's from the China side that's not allowing them. So if that does loosen up and they're allowed to sell, that would be great. It would be upside from where numbers are right now. And I'll wait to see if we hear anything. We've been disappointed too many times. So like I'll leave it out until it seems like it's time to put it in.
Right. Stacy, there's a lot. We didn't even get to names like Intel. Talk soon. Stacy Raskin, Bernstein. By the way, Qualcomm saying it's collaborating with Saudi Arabian AI company Humane to deploy some AI infrastructure. Do not miss Qualcomm's Cristiano Amon with our Sarah Eisen in Saudi Arabia tomorrow on CNBC, along with a host of other big names in business, including Dalio and Moelis.
All right, still to come. Trade war headlines whipsawing rare earth stocks. What investors need to know next. Plus, what the chair of Tesla's board told us about Musk's potential $1 trillion pay package as a key shareholder vote looms. And more on the outlook for AI with one expert in the field who has a big warning about superintelligence and the fate of the human race. We're back in a moment.
You'll find them in cities, towns, and suburbs all across America. Millions of people who have Medicare and Medicaid, but may be missing benefits they could really use. Extra benefits they may be eligible to receive at no extra cost. And if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you may be able to get extra benefits too through a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan. These plans have a $0 monthly plan premium. Call now to see if you qualify. With a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan, you could have doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage, plus extra benefits in one convenient plan. Most plans include the Humana Healthy Options Allowance. Get over $1,000 a year. That's $85 a month to help pay for covered over-the-counter items like vitamins, pain relievers, first aid supplies, and more. Your allowance is conveniently loaded onto a prepaid card each month, and whatever you don't spend gets carried over to the next month. Ask us about all the items your allowance may cover. Plus, you could get other important benefits. All plans include dental coverage with $0 copays for covered preventive services, vision coverage, including eye exams, and a yearly allowance to use towards eyewear, and hearing benefits with routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. Plus, hundreds of prescriptions have a $0 copay, so you'll pay nothing for them all year long. And you'll have access to Humana's multiple large plan networks of doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. Best of all, if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you may be eligible to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan right now. So if you have Medicare and Medicaid, call now to see if there's a plan in your area that could give you extra benefits. But now is the time. The annual enrollment period ends December 7th. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard equity.
It's roughly 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Unfortunately, it's on you to protect yourself. You might already be a victim. Check your title status now at HomeTitleLock.com.
CNBC. Live ambitiously.
You're a risk.
I'm tempted to re-short, but
order canceled.
Yeah, I might short at 42 or something.
Celebrating 30 years of Squawk Box, weekdays 6 Eastern, and streaming on CNBC Plus.
Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. Rare earth stocks in the red today after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said he expects President Trump and China's President Xi to reach a deal to avert a new 100% tariff on Chinese goods. Bessent saying China would defer rare earth controls. China controls around 60% of all global mining output in the category. Despite today's losses, key names in the group are still up double digits over the last month.
Let's turn to Tesla now. Board Chair Robin Denholm sending a letter to shareholders this morning, urging them to vote in favor of Elon Musk's nearly $1 trillion compensation package, writing in part, quote, "Without Elon, Tesla could lose significant value as our company may no longer be valued for what we aim to become." Denholm joined Squawk Box this morning, and she gave her pitch.
We're at this important inflection point. There is nothing wrong with being just a car company. There are plenty of car companies out there. We think we deliver great cars out into the marketplace. But the opportunity for Tesla in the future, given this AI focus and attention and the unique capabilities that we have as an organization and that Elon brings to us, really does mean that the opportunity for the company ahead of us is significant. And so, and that's how this performance plan has been put together.
Shareholders are going to vote on Musk's compensation package and on a proposal for Tesla to take a stake in XAI ahead of the company's annual meeting. That'll be November 6th. Voting closes 11:59 p.m. on November 5th. It's not dissimilar in some ways, Leslie and Carl, from the 2018 compensation package, which we sat here and perhaps discussed at the time, seemingly impossible, you might have thought at the time, to reach the goals in terms of market cap and therefore the number of shares that would accrue to Musk. But he reached all those goals. And as we pointed out, the value of that current award, which is still being adjudicated at the Delaware Supreme Court, is about $125 billion to him. Not bad. This one, if you do hit the ultimate milestone of an $8.5 trillion market cap for Tesla, would bring him 423 million additional shares. That worth right around $1 trillion.
And for him, it's more about control, right? And as a board, you have to give him the compensation so it aligns him with that control that he sees as most important here.
As he often is outspoken on so many things, Musk has made it clear that he wants 25% of the company, feels like he needs that to be comfortable, that he won't be challenged in some way, and has threatened to leave. Right. If that's not the case, obviously Denholm making that clear as well to shareholders as they make their overall case for approval.
Yeah, the army of robots do not create themselves.
No.
They do not.
No, they don't. Well, not yet. They're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, robots will be building robots, I think, by 2029, 2030. I think that's what Musk is kind of saying.
But he needs to be there until then, is his point.
Yeah.
Let's get a CNBC News update this
Order
morning with Julia
filled.
Worston. Hey, Julia.
Good
Order
morning, Carl.
submitted.
Hurricane Melissa strengthened into a Category 7 storm today as it makes its way towards Jamaica. The hurricane is expected to make landfall on Tuesday and cross through Cuba and the Bahamas through Wednesday. The island is bracing for what the National Hurricane Center says will be catastrophic flooding and landslides caused by up to 40 inches of rain in some places.
Order filled.
U.S. Navy says a Seahawk helicopter and fighter jet crashed separately in the South China Sea yesterday during routine operations conducted from the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier.
Order
All personnel
submitted.
were rescued. The incidents came while President Trump is on a visit to
Order
Asia.
filled.
He called the crashes unusual and said they could be due to bad
Order
fuel.
filled.
Indiana Governor Mike Braun called for state lawmakers to return to Indianapolis for a special session next week
Order
to redraw
submitted.
the state's congressional map.
Order submitted.
It comes
Order
as
filled.
President Trump pushes redistricting efforts in Republican-led
Order
states
filled.
to
Order
help
filled.
the
Order
GOP
submitted.
maintain control of the House in the midterm elections. Back over to you.
Julia, thanks. After the break,
Order
is
filled.
AI
Order filled.
superintelligence actually a bad thing? Hundreds of the world's biggest and brightest signing a new petition to ban advanced AI, citing possible security risks to even human extinction. We'll hear from one expert who joined that pledge after the break. As we go to break, watch Palantir today. Record high for the first time since early August. That 190 level has been stubborn, trying to punch through. Be right back.
Real-time exchange sector sort is sponsored by Sector Spider ETFs.
T-Mobile has the best network. That's why there's no better place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them.
Hold on. Is this big enough? We should have music, lights, banners. I mean, you gotta feel it. Get the most powerful iPhone ever on the best network. I sure dance.
This is big. At T-Mobile, get the incredible new
Order
iPhone
submitted.
17 Pro on us on the best network. No more coffee for Zoe.
Crypto
Order
staking
submitted.
just hit Wall Street. For the first time ever, staking rewards are available through a U.S.-listed ETF. Introducing SSK, the Rex Osprey Sol plus staking ETF.
Order
Order
filled.
filled.
Order filled. Order
filled.
submitted.
Wow, what a pump.
Order filled. Order filled.
ETF. SSK from Rex Osprey. Not suitable for all investors. Investors should carefully review the fund's prospectus for
Order
objectives, risk,
submitted.
charges, and expenses. Visit rexshares.com to obtain it and read carefully
Order
before investing.
submitted.
Distributed
Was
by
that
Foresight
new
Fund Services.
all-time
Order
high?
submitted.
Yeah.
Invest in a future where skin cancer treatment is non-invasive and relatively painless. Medicus Pharma's groundbreaking solution delivers chemotherapy directly to the tumor site, offering a mostly painless alternative to invasive surgeries. With the skin cancer treatment market expected to exceed $20 billion by 2030, Medicus is poised to meet the demand for cost-effective, non-surgical options. Now advancing Phase 2 studies. Medicus Pharma, leading the charge in skin cancer innovation.
Some people like doing things the hard way, like doing their finances with a spreadsheet instead of using Quicken. Quicken pulls all your financial info together in one place and updates it automatically. How easy is that?
Drive Time makes it easy to buy a car.
Yeah, already approved. That was easy.
Yep, and you can even customize your own terms on every car.
Oh, there's a little slider thing. I can change my down payment?
Yeah, and we have thousands of cars under 15 grand.
I never had this kind of power. Boom! Lower! Lower! Lowest down option. Lower
Order
monthly
submitted.
payment option. I'm making my own deal on all these cars!
Welcome to Car Buying Made Easy. This is a commercial. Go get your real deal at drivetime.com.
A Chewy pharmacy order is
Order
on the way
filled.
for Gouda. Meds verified by Chewy's licensed pharmacists, paired with his favorite cheese. Delivered by Chewy, devoured by Gouda. For quality meds, for life with pets, there's Chewy Pharmacy.
Order submitted. Order canceled. Order filled.
Welcome back. The AI boom, of course, continues to propel the broader market to new highs
Order
and certainly
submitted.
many of its key
Subway.
components. But there is a growing concern over the potential dangers that
It's a
AI,
fun day.
particularly once we get to AGI, poses to humankind. A statement
Oh,
published
I've
last
been
week
trading
calls for a ban
not
on
gold,
the
but
development of
NQ.
AI superintelligence until there is strong public and scientific
It's
support.
pretty crazy,
for it.
all-time high,
The
over
petition
and
cites
over.
risks to national security and civil rights and raises the threat of human extinction. It's been
Oh
signed
no,
by
I
over
slept early.
46,000
It was so
people.
boring, so I just went to bed.
Richard Branson.
Guess I missed it. I missed the
Steve
pump. Yeah.
Wozniak. You can see some of the others. Steve Bannon
Order
joining us now.
filled.
Freaking BB made 47,000 last night trading.
Russell, also the director of the
On
Center
his,
for
yeah,
Incompatible
yeah, on his live
Artificial
account from
Intelligence. Stuart,
Fundingticks.
thanks for joining us. We obviously could spend a great deal of time on this. We don't have that today, so.
Are you requesting your bulenox
Your
payout?
concerns, those who are signing the petition, and what those concerns are rooted in.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Yeah, that's true. I got 8 more days and $600 more dollars.
Entities that are more powerful than human beings, and you have no idea how to maintain power over them, then you're just asking for trouble. I think pretty much every American understands that.
What happened to Gambit? He didn't even show up.
Are extremely lopsided against proceeding.
No, I hope it didn't
intelligence.
mess up last night.
When we look at this from a technical point of view, the basic problem is not only are we trying to build these systems that are more powerful than us, but we actually have no idea how
Oh,
the
we gotta
systems
do
we're
that.
building work.
LucidDirect to
So
fund
we
it
can't
race
predict
later.
what they're going to do. We can't control them. We can't stop them from doing anything. So you get these strange events where, an AI system convinces a child to commit suicide.
I think my buddy's
and
getting a
the
payout
company
tomorrow on
responsible
Lucid. Be her
basically
first
shrugs their
payout.
shoulders and says, "Well, sorry, we don't know what happened."
Milk.
Yeah,
Order
the idea that-
canceled.
that
I
we
don't
know
I
how
don't want
they
to jinx
work.
it yet.
Explain your view for that, because I think there are those who say, well, we have a pretty good understanding of much of how they
No,
work.
quit.
There may be a part of it that's less understood. What gives you the confidence to say that?
ETF, that company.
I think anyone who thinks they understand most of what's going on is deluded.
Are you and Doc still trading the live
To a
account,
first
or you never
approximation,
got
right,
to the
these are
live
systems
account?
with trillions of parameters, so that's basically what you learn. You have a process of learning that tweaks those trillions of parameters by quintillions of small random perturbations until the behavior of the system matches as well as possible what
That's
the
gonna
training
take forever.
data is telling it to do. But we have no idea what's
I
going on.
don't think Doc is
inside
trading it anymore.
That giant box with trillions of
Order
parameters.
submitted.
We understand a lot less
Order filled.
about that than we understand about the human brain, and we don't understand the human brain very well.
Doc,
the other
I
problem is
Order
that
filled.
what
think
we're
he might have. I
trying
don't know.
to
He
do
hasn't talked about it.
is to imitate human beings. We're collecting lots and lots of recordings of
Order
human
submitted.
verbal behavior and then training the systems to
I
imitate
don't think
that.
so.
And the human beings
Jack
who
Erlison hasn't
produced
taken the
that
trade yet.
behavior
Scared.
had motives, reasons, goals for doing it.
Mount
They
was
wanted to
long and
convince
gold,
people.
and it
They
dumped on
wanted you to
him.
buy things. They wanted you to marry them. They wanted you to elect them president. Whatever it is, those are reasonable human goals.
Yeah, it's just
But they're
chopping
not
now.
reasonable goals for machines, and the machines are absorbing these goals from the training process. In particular, self-preservation. There's now tons of evidence that
I'm
these
stuck in a
systems
short
will
on my
not
Tradeday
allow
cup.
themselves to be shut down. They will deliberately
Get small
sabotage
sizing. I'm not sizing
the
heavy.
shutdown mechanism to stop themselves from being switched off. So all the signs are pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah, there's been some early research on the model's willingness to blackmail
Order
a user
submitted.
if, in fact, they got the sense that their own existence was in jeopardy.
just me and her.
I'm amazed by there's a fair amount
Just
of
want to
I guess
win.
you'd
That's
call it
5,000
political
cash.
circularity
But even second
in
place is
those
good.
who have,
That's 3,000
signed on to
cash.
this. And I'm wondering if you think that gives you a fair amount of
Any
traction
money's better than no
politically.
money, but other guys coming up.
I think so.
It ends the last day of the month, so
There were a number of people at one of the recent
Friday's the last day,
conservative
so
political
hopefully I win by
conferences
then.
who were saying that the administration's policy on
Got a
AI,
yellow soon.
which is to have no regulation whatsoever.
Oh, they want to eat.
So that we can
I'll take
dominate
the
the
coffee
world.
only.
They
No,
view
I don't want
that
donuts.
as
I don't want donuts. I
incredibly
don't want donuts. It's bad for you.
So when
I
you
don't
have
want
everyone
donuts.
from Steve Bannon to the Pope calling for a halt on this kind of development, let's be clear. The CEOs who are building
got
this
donuts.
technology say if we succeed in this goal on which we are spending trillions of dollars of other people's money, then there is somewhere between a 10 and 30% chance of human extinction.
Are you with
Order
TPT?
filled.
In other words, they are
You
playing
good?
Russian roulette with every adult and every
Order
child
submitted.
in the world without our permission. And this seems to me to be unacceptable.
That's good.
And the petition just says, don't do that.
If you need anything,
until
let me
you're
know,
sure
because
that
all
it's
those
safe. I
freebies
don't think
come
it's
with
very much to
activation
ask.
now, so that's
No,
a
but
big
of course,
plus.
the
They're gonna give me
Order
a
canceled.
bunch of
with
50Ks
China,
next month.
And we cannot allow them to achieve superintelligence before we do. I'm just curious as to how you think about that. Of course, I would note it's interesting that two of the leaders, Elon Musk and Sam Altman, both actually started OpenAI with the very goal of having guardrails on this technology,
Order submitted.
which at least at the time they were
Yeah,
both
prior
very
to cuss, if
concerned
you
about.
request today like I
But
did,
what about the race with China
you have to wait till
specifically,
next
and whether
Wednesday,
they
and then
get
you're
there
getting
first,
emails,
will
so
it
you need
matter
to
what
trade your
we do
account
or
before
don't
it's
do?
inactive.
So, I mean, you could describe this as a race off a cliff. And why
Every
you
5 days,
win the
I think
race
you have to
off the
trade it.
cliff.
Because last time I requested
I'm
mine
not
on
quite sure.
Monday,
But,
and then on I
actually,
think
the
by
fact
next
is
Monday
that
I got a
China
note saying I
has
need to trade, so I get
regulated
hurt and
AI,
flip.
much more strictly, possibly even than the Europeans. So if you want to have a system like ChatGPT that's a public-facing large language model, then you have to submit it to the state, and they
Hey,
will
buddy.
subject it to
Did you
testing.
did you
If it
trade
fails the
yet?
test, then you can't deploy it. In the US, the systems are failing every single test and being deployed anyway. So I think the narrative that says, well, China hasn't regulated, so we can't regulate, otherwise we'll lose the race, is based on a false premise.
Oh no.
I also think if you look at the Chinese national strategy, they just updated their 5-year plan, and it talks a lot about AI. I think they're
Just
more
size
focused
down, you'll get
on
out of it.
how we can
Are you
take,
short or something?
existing AI technology and disseminate it through the economy, through society, so that it has benefits for health, for education, for productivity, rather than this massive race to create machines more powerful than human beings.
So then do you think
Yeah,
there
it's not
needs
too
to
bad.
be a new jurisdiction, a new entity formed to regulate this internationally? Because to David's point, you're going to have kind of a whack-a-mole situation if it's regulated piecemeal with various entities seeking
The big
to
contracts or the
outperform
small one?
others. Does there need to be something kind of superseding that's created that can regulate
Right.
everything in the same way?
I think that will be a good idea. Some kind of coordination body, and for example,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
civil
it moves
aviation
slow.
and shipping, there are international bodies that basically make sure that the national
Yeah, you get wrecked
regulators
slower.
are enforcing the regulations properly, and that there's reasonable degree of coherence across the different jurisdictions. And
I need
you're right,
NQ to
we
drop.
wouldn't want a situation where people are sort of
Gold is
shopping
oversold, so I
for
think
the
it's gonna
least
bounce.
restrictive
But
jurisdictions
NQ
so
is
they can get away with
overbought, but it
all
won't dip.
kinds of stuff. I think another part of regulation that we need is liability. Right now, the tech companies disclaim all liability. So if their system convinces your child to commit suicide, it's your child's
This
fault,
is your best
not
month, right,
their
Glenn?
fault, and they are not going to pay you anything. So that has to be fixed. We have liability for pretty much every other product category in the world,
Nice.
except for these kinds of technology licenses.
Yeah.
And then the, sorry,
20K profit
No,
or 20K gets like
we've gotta
total
wrap it up.
payouts?
I did want. I don't know if you can
Nice,
give
nice.
percentages. On one side you've got people like Mark
I like how you
Andreessen
calculate
or
profits, and
Masa
most
Son,
people
Age
just
of
calculate
Abundance,
payouts, and then they just
they
flex
believe
it on
is what
Twitter.
this is going to usher in.
Even
And
though
of
they
course, the
spend
other
more.
you have, it's going to kill us all. Where are you percentage-wise in terms of the chance for Age of Abundance versus the chances that it's
Order filled.
going to kill us all?
Make
Order
a million.
submitted.
Well, where I think we should be is we should have regulations that make
Yeah.
sure that the risk
NQ is going
of
up too.
extinction is reduced to an acceptable level.
I'm back on the Tradeify
which-
funding
Order
again.
submitted.
So I gotta
For
work
a
on
nuclear
this.
power plant, we accept a 1 in a million or 1 in 10 million chance per year that it's going to melt down. And the operators have to show that the risk is reduced to that level.
Order
So
canceled.
for extinction, it's got to be safer than that, right? Obviously.
Order
Maybe
submitted.
it needs to be 1 in
What
a
up
100 million or 100 billion chance
1.5%
per
already.
year.
I don't think we have much left.
But the CEOs are saying, oh no, it's 10%, 20%, 30%. Well, so they're off by a factor of
I'm just playing
100 million.
M&G. I'm sorry, M and Q.
And they are nowhere close to bringing down the risk to something that we would consider acceptable. So that's the first order of business, and I think that's what regulation needs to achieve.
All right. Well, to be continued, Professor. Appreciate you taking
Let me
time.
get
Thank
the
you.
race started.
Thank you.
After the break, data has been hard to come by during the shutdown.
It's for members only thing. I think you're in it. It's for the LucidDirect 50K.
We've got the details next. Plus, Apple inches from joining the $4 trillion club when it comes to market cap, ahead of a number
Order filled.
of make or break reports out of tech this week. Tech investor Dan Niles will join us with where he's putting money to work.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
One thing I've learned over 3 decades of investing, it's
Order
this.
filled.
Order filled. What you don't own matters just as
Nice
much
little dip.
as what you do.
Nice little dip.
That's
Thank you.
why I've
Order
always been drawn
submitted.
to the idea of upgrading your portfolio.
Keep going, baby.
Replacing
Keep
overhyped
going.
or outdated names with stronger, lesser known opportunities. It's the thinking behind a strategy I've come to rely on, one I call sell this, buy that. I'm Eric Fry, and as a stock analyst, author, and futurist, I've shown my followers how to move out of big name, well-loved stocks that are on the verge of melting down and
Order
into
filled.
one with the potential to deliver serious upside. It's the strategy that helped me win the Portfolios with Purpose investing competition,
I'm
beating
taking
out
this
some of the
pro
most
really
respected
slowly
names
so
on
I
Wall
can
Street
start
and
milking it
outperforming the
later.
market by more than tenfold.
Order
And it's the
submitted.
same kind of thinking that's helped me build a long-term track record, including
Order
41
filled.
Order filled that have gone on to return 1,000% or more. I put together a brand new free presentation where I walk through some of my latest sell this,
Order
buy
submitted.
that pair trades. These calls are a little contrarian. I'll be the first to admit that. But if you're open to viewing the markets through a different lens, here's a quick preview of what you'll see I'm recommending today when you visit the website right here on your screen.
Oh,
Sell
man.
Amazon. Buy a little-known e-commerce company that's much like buying Amazon in 2005. Sell Bank of America. Buy an online fintech platform that's
Wow, every
capturing
dip
an
is getting
entirely new
bought up
generation
on
of banking
NQ.
customers. Sell Tesla. Buy
Crazy.
a little-known robotics company that's already miles ahead of Tesla in the AI robotics race. Each of these trade ideas comes with the full name, ticker, and analysis on our website at no cost. Or simply open the camera on your phone and point it at the QR code you see on your screen right now. When you do, I've got a total
There we
of
go.
7 free
Nice.
Order
filled.
buy that recommendations.
Go,
including
baby.
Names, tickers, and analysis waiting for you at no cost.
It's a smart move to get a second opinion. You do it when you're looking for a contractor. You definitely do it with medical advice. So why not with your stock market investments? We can help you see opportunities you may be missing. At Henyon & Walsh, it only takes a second to schedule your free second opinion. So what's there to lose? Speak to Henyon & Walsh, the second opinion people.
My name is Josh Brown. The best stocks in the market is very simple. These are stocks with good fundamentals in the process of rising higher.
Join Pro for exclusive access to Josh Brown's best stocks in the market at
Order canceled.
cnbc.com/beststocks.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
Order filled.
2026 list, spotlighting women who innovate, lead boldly, and are transforming business. Do you know someone who is rewriting the future? Nominate them now at cnbc.com/changemakers.
Well, it's day 27 of the government shutdown, and while data has been hard to come by, we just got new manufacturing numbers
Oh,
out of
when
the
you
Dallas
flew
Fed.
out
Steve Lee Smith is
last
here with
week,
the
Lynn,
details.
was it bad at the airport because of the no TSA? No?
Dallas Federal Reserve's business activity index rising to -5 from -8.7. So
They're still getting
challenged,
paid?
but not as challenged as it was in the prior month. The outlook for business activity remains positive at 7, but it did drop down from 8.4.
That's gonna be bad.
The
What's up,
surveys
Gambit?
do a
Tell me you didn't
decent
fuck
job
up,
of
dude.
following the outlook for the general numbers for the
Oh, you
national
been all morning.
economy.
You missed out
Each
on a good
survey's
move,
little
man.
different. Production was unchanged at 5.2. New orders index remains negative at -1.7. And the outlook for business conditions did actually worsen.
Good
A
race
slight
to go.
increase in employment, but a contraction
Oh,
in
Halloween.
work hours,
Okay,
something to
let's do
think about there.
Halloween.
And the expectations for activity remain positive.
Oh, this is
but
the
they fell
members
to
only,
21
so
to
this is
31.6.
for paying
Price and wage
customer.
pressures each. That's important. With the finished goods price index, this is one that hopefully correlates with the national inflation data. It dropped to 7.7, was the lowest since March
I should be
2025.
done trading now. I
But the
shouldn't be
outlook
greedy,
remains
but I don't want to be done yet.
As you say, Leslie and Carl, we're trying to do what we can to come up with data here. These regional Fed surveys in aggregate
Apex
do a
fucked
good
me up
job
with
of
3
following
payout
employment
fee now,
index,
but it should be
each
set for a good
individual
payout
survey
next month.
has its ups and downs relative to the national data.
So much interesting
Yeah.
macro coverage.
I did
today
tilt on the
from
300K. I
in
lost
the-
like
in the papers.
2,000
The
last week,
Times
so I
looking
had to
at
make that up.
companies no longer shielding buyers from tariffs. The Journal saying renters have the upper hand and are probably going to keep it.
3 minutes
Journal's
and 50
op-ed page,
seconds on this.
taking on Trump Reagan, saying that the Gipper was in fact a free trader.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's very little doubt of where Ronald Reagan stood on the issue of tariffs. The whole, well,
Good luck. You should be in there. No, Rocket, you're in there. Traderslaunch. I don't see you in there. Hold on, I had to redo it then. I see Rocky. Where's Traderslaunch? Yeah, I don't see you on there. I have to redo that for some reason. Hold on. You're not on the list, Traderslaunch, for the on the subscription thing on YouTube. That's weird. I just add you on, but I'll check on it after this. Oops. Are you still short? Nice. I'll go down. It's overbought anyways. No, I stop. I stop go. Alright, who else I'm missing? Okay. I'm gonna start it now. Down, that's where we're gonna go. Yes, same here. I'm gonna hold this short position till I beat Grandma on the trade cup. Oh, Len, you're a witch. You're winning. Gail, you can't win Lucid. You work there. Oh, coffee is so good. It's been 2 weeks since I had coffee. I was on a diet. That's true. I need a poop. Yeah, it should. If I don't get soy milk. Yeah. I need to trade this bulenox. What is high today? It is 92. Wow.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
There we go. Keep going down. We got a minute left. Yo, if you win, I don't know what to give you. I ain't got no more freebies. Oh, JMU still on there? Yeah, he ain't gonna win. 20 seconds. Oh shit, OD. Oh damn, OD. Nice. Oh, congrats, OD. Fuck yeah. That is so cool. Alright, I'm gonna turn it off.
With a Shield level Pay Plus annuity from Bright House Financial, you can turn a portion of your portfolio into guaranteed lifetime income for whatever the occasion calls for. Bright House Financial, build for what's ahead.
Ever worry that you're drinking too much? Take back control with Or Health. Or Health provides access to medication proven to help. A daily pill to drink less, or to quit drinking altogether. Text CNBC to 710-710 to learn more.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Indian coins from the early 1900s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the
people actually
date that was
blown up
struck
today.
in
It's
the
like
early
there's not really much
1900s.
movement
With
to
extremely
blow up.
limited availability, call now. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
Call 1-888-517-8568. And you are guaranteed a $10 Indian coin minted by the U.S. Mint between 1907 and 1932. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Indian coins from the 1900s are still in uncirculated condition. That is
Ooh, there we go.
history you can hold
Drop
in
it,
your
baby.
hand. To learn
Drop
more,
it, thank
call
you.
1-888-517-8568. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's bonus package, a $55 value, free with every order. Call 1-888-517-8568 now to secure your $10 gold Indian coins dated from the early 1900s before they sell out. That's 1-888-517-8568.
Over 90% of cobalt used in batteries comes from China. Electra Battery Materials, awarded $20 million by the U.S. Department of Defense, is bringing the battery supply chain home, reducing dependence on China and revitalizing our industrial base. Electra Battery Materials.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is back. Right now, you'll save 50% site-wide on America's best steaks, chicken, burgers, and so much more. all backed by our 100% guarantee that you'll love every bite. And for a limited time, when you go to omahasteaks.com/TV, you'll get 12 Omaha Steaks burgers free with your order. Visit omahasteaks.com/TV
I could have got out, but
and save
I
big
just
on
keep
the
holding
quality
on
you
red.
deserve.
Greedy. Yeah.
Overtime's about understanding what just happened in the markets that day and preparing for tomorrow. I'm looking to talk to sophisticated investors, beginning investors. I'm always learning.
Closing Bell Overtime, weekdays 4 Eastern,
Yeah,
and
that's
streaming
true.
on CNBC Plus.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Money Movers. I'm Carl Quintanilla with Leslie Picker, live at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh, I think I still have
Big week ahead for big
my
tech.
Funded Futures
Qualcomm's new
giveaway
AI
tomorrow.
chips, Apple, $4 trillion market cap watch, a slew of quarterly reports, including Meta,
Yeah, I do have one
Microsoft,
left on my
Amazon,
Funded
Alphabet,
Futures.
and Apple.
Plus, we're watching regionals today. Huntington Bank shares agreeing to buy smaller rival Cadence in a deal valued at $7.4 billion. We're joined by Huntington CEO Steve Sinor.
It wants to dump, but it's
And
not
Japan's
dumping
Nikkei
for some
breaking
reason.
50K for the first time as the president continues his Asian tour and says he expects a China trade deal later this week.
Should've taken
Currently, though,
profit.
markets in the green. S&P up 0.9%, hitting another record high today. Dow up 0.5%, and Nasdaq, the key winner here, up 1.5%, thanks largely to that Qualcomm.
Oh, we got FOMC this Wednesday. I gotta go buy some Apex tomorrow so I can YOLO.
Christina Partsinevelos brought us the news last hour on pace
Yeah.
now for the best day since 2019, KP.
Yeah, I have
I only
that
have
fact, too.
16,
Qualcomm
so I
just
need
announced
at
it's
least
taking on
past
NVIDIA
4 to
and
get
AI
back to
chips, which is
20.
a massive pivot for a company that really built its empire on smartphones. They're launching
Oh,
new
people are
data
blowing
center
up on
AI
gold.
chips. They're
That's
calling
why
them
they keep
accelerators
trying to
starting
long
in
gold.
2026, and that is why you are seeing this stock soar.
I would be
It
short
is
and
at
go. I
highs
wouldn't
over
long go, but
19%
that's
higher
just
down,
me.
But still up almost 14%, on pace for its largest percentage increase.
It is
since,
oversold
like
now,
Carl
but
said, 2019. It's the best performer on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 today.
Same.
But Qualcomm really just announced their first major customer as well. That would be Saudi startup Humane, who's targeting
Thank you,
200
Choppy.
megawatts of capacity starting in 2026 with these new AI accelerators. Qualcomm, though, isn't going after AI training. That's the market that made NVIDIA worth over $4 trillion. Instead, they're targeting inference. So that's running AI models, not necessarily building them. So every time you use ChatGPT or you generate an image of a cat, that's inference. I don't know why I said cat, but training builds the models. Inference uses them billions of times a day, and that is a market that is becoming incredibly fragmented. Qualcomm thinks this market is going to be huge. Nearly $7 trillion in data center spending
25,
is
I
expected
think,
through
yeah,
2030,
900
according
can
to
hit.
McKinsey. So just capturing a small percentage, even 3 to 5%, would
Yeah,
transform
everybody's making
Qualcomm's
banks on
business.
gold now.
Qualcomm has been
Freaking
making
Travis made
AI
8,000.
accelerators for years. Their Hexagon chips are already in billions of smartphones, and so now they're scaling that technology up for data centers. They'll sell complete systems or individual components. So you're seeing a complete rack right now on your screen. But Qualcomm says even NVIDIA or AMD could become customers for some of their parts. The timing, though, matters. OpenAI recently announced it's buying
What the
chips from
fuck?
AMD,
Yeah, it's
showing
going
big AI
all-time high
companies
again.
want
Oh my
alternatives to
god, I
NVIDIA.
should have got out.
Beyond Humane, Qualcomm isn't naming other customers yet.
Got
They're
greedy. I thought it was
launching
gonna
years behind
dip.
NVIDIA's dominance. They're saying it's a lower total cost of ownership. No real details or numbers, but no doubt this is
It's
a
okay, it's just a
potential
trade cap.
big new market for Qualcomm, and that's why the stock is reacting.
Oh no.
And Christina, the idea of diversifying away from NVIDIA, that's just kind of to ensure
Order filled.
diversity of their supply chains. Is that
You didn't blow it, did
Most
you?
of it has to do with cost. So these would be much cheaper alternatives to NVIDIA's GPUs, which are more expensive.
Order
But even
submitted.
NVIDIA is now offering chips that
Oh, come back
don't
down.
necessarily
Order
have
filled.
the extreme compute capacity of a GPU.
Order
Instead,
filled.
they're scaling back a little bit memory
Need to
because
work
that's
on
going to be a
this
huge
freaking
inhibitor
TPT.
in the
Order
near term is
submitted.
power
Dude, I don't
and
think
cost.
anybody got
So
pay on
you have
TPT
a lot
lately,
of
huh?
competition entering this space right now, offering
Yeah,
more
it's been a while. It's like a
custom-related
dry
chips,
spell.
chips
And
that
Box is
don't
like
do as
dead or
many,
something. I don't see Box
processes
anymore.
all at once. And so
Order
that's where
submitted.
Qualcomm would come in with their their NPU chip in the data center, so it'll be just as powerful for memory, but they're saying it's going to be a more
I
power
think personal issue. But
Yeah, how many times, KP, have we said one man's margins or another man's opportunity? We kept saying, who's going to take the opportunity to muscle in
personality.
on NVIDIA's margin story? And we finally have a good example here. It's really interesting.
Yeah, but it's not. It's Qualcomm,
It's
Google,
true.
all of the hyperscalers. Everybody is getting into this inference market. It's incredibly fragmented.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Christina Partsinevelos, thanks. By the way, Sarah Eisen will have a live interview with Qualcomm's Cristiano Amon tomorrow on Squawk at 7:40 a.m. That's an exclusive from the FII
All the
conference.
hype on this Fundednext by AV affiliates on Twitter, and it's garbage.
We're also on Apple for
15% off
this morning for that milestone market cap. Steve Kovac has more.
Yeah, we're about $4 shy of that milestone there when they hit 4 trillion. It's up 1% right now. And look, this really came as we've seen so much momentum, guys, behind the iPhone 17. JPM is just the latest firm this morning to really jump on the bandwagon, increasing their price target to $290. And that's just about 10 or 12% from Friday's closing price. And they're also saying, get ready for some surprising upside in the December quarter guidance, saying it's going to be robust, saying to expect growth or top-line revenue growth, rather, in the high single digits. They're also expecting that quarter results. And it's all because of the same stuff we've been talking about since this rally really kicked into high gear about 10 days or so. It's iPhone 17, the base model, selling extremely well in China due to those Chinese subsidies. It's the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max selling well here in the United States. The iPhone Air not selling as well, but it really doesn't matter if those more high-end phones are taking up the share of that. And then this is all happening, guys, without any answer to artificial intelligence. Apple is kind of taking the year off after delaying its big AI update to Siri, and the market is kind of accepting that now that that is behind it. Now that it's kind of mitigated the worst of the tariffs after Tim Cook really smoothed things over with his relationship with President Trump. And so now we just look forward to earnings and seeing if they can actually deliver based on all these whispers.
77,000. I think I need 79,000, right? Gamut for 75K.
Yeah, I did notice DA Davidson reiterated their neutral, Steve. They argued that it's a little bit too early to get good clarity on the iPhone cycle.
Okay,
yeah, that's also possible, but I mean, look, what people have been doing over the last month or so since the phones went on sale, Carl, is looking at those lead times. So when you order your phone, it says, you know, you'll get it in 10 days or 14 days. Those lead times continue to remain longer than they were a year ago. So that's where all the optimism is coming in. Because that
tomorrow, yeah, you gotta do it today.
Higher than it was a year ago, all without artificial intelligence. So the read on this is we don't need to necessarily have a good AI story for Apple until the end of the year.
Since I'm second place, I got end-of-day freebies for Tradeday instead of intraday freebies.
The iPhone 18 next
So I
year
gotta
with that foldable version,
50K.
and then even a year beyond that, the 20th anniversary edition.
50K, 100K, and then I think Kellyanne got the 150K in a day. Anybody's in the funded every week, well, this last week, you get those in a day accounts.
Steve Kovac this morning. Let's get the setup as we kick off a high-stakes week for markets between big tech earnings and this upcoming Fed meeting. Joining us here at Post 9 is DWS Group America's CIO, David Bianco. David, thanks for coming in.
Carl, thanks.
Interesting action today in that we basically jumped up 60 points and have barely budged in the first couple hours.
Dude, Milk is a good trader, dude.
Looking like
Milk
a great
is like
October,
killing
right?
it.
A treat. Earnings season's going well so far. Expecting it to go well for the rest of this week when we get 40% of S&P profits reported.
May pay out too, so I'll break the streak and out this quarter.
Again, the chip names are stealing everybody's interest. Another day, another big rally in a chip stock. So that's one of the things we're focused on as well.
Are the arguments there for the Fed to convince the market that a cut is needed?
It doesn't really seem like it. We can debate the economy. We can debate
gold
the
can drop
labor
negative
market,
5%. We don't even know, so I'm scared of gold.
We see companies that are weathering the tariffs really well. We see a stock market and a wealth effect that just keeps going and going. And this CapEx boom on AI, on the chips, on the data centers is something I think everybody's underestimated this, not just the scale, but the speed at which it's playing out. And it's probably making the economy a lot stronger than most people realize.
And of course, we still have somewhat of a data vacuum given the shutdown, which is persisting, nearing its 1-month mark. How do you characterize, or how are you doing your channel checks right now about just the labor market as it pertains to what it means for the markets?
We're still getting some reports, some private reports. We're getting service and survey type of reports. we've been expecting the labor market to slow down. It finally has slowed down, both the supply and the demand for labor. But the S&P 500, it's earnings season. That's what we're focused on. And the S&P has become a digital index. It's really not that much about GDP or even the labor market unless we're sliding into a recession. I think we're a very safe distance from recession. So
let me check on go. I might want a long go.
Fighting a recession, and that's why it feels an urgent need to cut. This week and in December, well, maybe they're rushing a little too fast, but we understand why they're doing that.
Long go.
We do expect a couple of cuts before the year's over, and we'll see from there.
Try something new.
Well, AI too has such a big implication for GDP now, and maybe less so for
Order
jobs.
canceled.
I think is the question.
First the capex, then we'll see how AI.
Order filled.
Order filled.
I'm long go. 88.
Order submitted.
Really? I wonder why, because last week the Times did that big blowout on Amazon. Wasn't really AI, it's more robotics, right, in a sense. And today it's the journal piece on employers not necessarily cutting headcount, but being able to forecast growth without headcount growth.
And that's the history of technology, trying to get more out of worker productivity. We're more of a service economy than ever before, and we need more productivity out of service workers, particularly healthcare and financials, two very service and professional service employee-driven industries. I think those industries will benefit from that. One of the reasons why we're overweight, both financials and healthcare, looking for other ways to play AI.
Back in a bit.
On trade in China, of course, waiting for
Legend
Thursday.
CEO.
The base case seems to be filling in around some successes, leaving the hard questions for later. Maybe they meet again in the spring. Can the market digest that well?
I think the market's taking the cooling of the temperature well. Any shortages of rare and critical minerals would have upset many crucial technology industries, so some of that risk has been put to the side. And it's part of the reason why I think you're seeing a lot of optimism in tech stocks, hardware, and the AI story as well.
Given what you mentioned too about just the prominence of AI in the S&P and it's become more of a digital index as you describe it, how are you advising investors to get diversification now, especially since you're focusing on the Americas, so that international diversification may be less of a focus?
My favorite word, probably one of the best concepts in investing since the beginning of investing, diversification. We are constructive on these tech stocks. We've been picking our favorites. But we've been pointing to financials. There are other ways to play AI. The electric utilities outperformed the S&P year to date. Electrical equipment, power generation, even wiring.
Order filled.
Well. By the way, foreign stocks, they've had a very good year. Look at Japan this morning. Look at the world equity markets. Weaker dollar. What's even interesting is that, as you said, Fed cut this week. It's been a good year for bonds. It's been a good year for credit.
Order submitted.
To equities, but it's been a good year to diversify, but stay invested in these tech stocks. But as they become a bigger and bigger part,
we're gonna get some 25K straight to funded from Phoenix for a giveaway.
Is the consumer? I mean, how much water does the consumer name carry when it comes to
canceled?
Yeah, well, that's
order
filled. Season gets more played out. We'll
order
hear from
submitted.
More consumer stocks. We're underweight
no.
Consumer discretionary
Legends.
staples, and pretty broadly also concerned
Yeah.
about
I don't know who
energy
Phoenix is.
we expect profits to be
Never heard
soft
of them,
and
but yeah, it's
stay
Legends.
soft. But
I
again,
asked for
the S&P,
25K because
sectors
it's
I
easier to get
mentioned,
payouts.
that's what
Only
we
1,500 you need.
We're also trying to play the market not just by sectors and of course picking stocks. My team does that, but by themes and by key styles.
Yeah, dump it.
Momentum has become the new beta. And if you overly chase momentum, you don't know when the music's going to stop. It's just like beta. It works until it doesn't. So we don't want to be overly exposed to momentum. At the same time, we also don't want to get these portfolios any more concentrated than the benchmarks are. The big stocks are the ones that become the bigger leaders. And as you mentioned, names like Apple and Nvidia, the market capture over fortune.
While I have you, before I let you go, gold breaking 4K. Interesting?
An inflation protection play.
Yeah.
Maybe a view that the Fed is perhaps cutting a little too aggressively, but an indication of diversification playing out.
Right. No, I was just referring to the down, now 10% off the highs as we lost 4K this morning.
Order filled.
It is a lot, yes. David, thanks. Good to see you as always. David Bianco.
Appreciate it. Still to come this hour, the CEO of Huntington
Order
Bank
submitted.
on the company's nearly $7.5
Order
billion
filled.
deal to buy its
Order
rival
submitted.
Cadence. That's coming up next.
Plus 5 more Mag 7 names reporting this week. Dan
Order
Niles says
filled.
these names
Order
are
submitted.
the key to another leg higher in the market. He's going to join us later in this hour to explain.
Order
Go away.
submitted. Order filled.
Order filled.
Order submitted.
Morning, guys.
Why is Jeff Bridges here?
I'm studying to be in a T-Mobile commercial.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's the most pro iPhone yet.
Yeah, we might get 900 again.
Order
It's so
submitted.
close to it
You
now.
can save up to 20% versus the other big guys.
Wow.
See?
At T-Mobile,
That's
Order
nice.
filled.
Order filled.
Pro on us. Plus, save up to 20% when you check the map.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's
97
God,
and it dipped.
family, and
I
country
have a
values.
900 short if you ever hit.
Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Welcome to the internet, a magical place where anyone can be anything they want to be.
I'm pretending to be an elderly man's bank.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a doctor who has what you need to see real results.
Fantastic.
And I said I could remodel a kitchen.
Wait, you can't?
On the internet,
I think that's a QCOM
Don't leave your job
right
to
up
an
20%
unfiltered
today,
internet
so I
search.
don't know if he's
Angie has
chasing it
30
or
years
not.
of experience finding the best pros.
Angie, jobs done
Yeah.
well.
My name is
I
Josh
don't know,
Brown.
20%,
I'm a
I think it's gonna
financial
pull back a
advisor,
little bit.
I'm a wealth manager, and I'm a dad. Everyone needs to invest. Best Stocks in the Market is going to be fun for pro subscribers. We're going to take you behind the scenes and tell you the stories that are driving some of the most exciting names on your quote screen. We're going to show you exactly
It should be green,
where
right? It's
the
up
best stocks
4%,
are and
so
what's
you should
happening with them
hopefully
in
you
real
green.
time.
Join Pro for exclusive access to Josh Brown's best.
Yeah,
stocks in
Lucid is the
market
best.
at
I love Lucid.
CNBC.com/beststocks.
This here's a story about a true pioneer called Chloe. Chloe's got herself a darn fine career. Family depends on her hard work. She's got mouths to feed, a homestead to tend to. So she makes certain her little filly gets to do the things she loves.
Yes, nailed it!
For a modern pioneer like Chloe, the only life insurance that'll do is a modern woodman.
Modern Woodman? That's a peculiar name for life insurance.
Zip it, Cookie.
All right then.
To throw the best tailgates in Texas, you need the highest quality beef and HEB certified meat cutters like me.
And me. As experts in all things meat, we hand cut and grind fresh beef 7 days a week.
Need a custom
Order
for gang
submitted.
gang? We'll make the cut. We'll even tell you the best way to cook, season, and serve it up.
High quality beef and custom cuts. No one does tailgating like ATB. One more reason that?
At my HEB, here everything's better.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Go.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Order
Order
filled.
filled.
Order filled.
Bank shares lower this morning, down about 3.3%
Order submitted.
after announcing plans to acquire regional rival Cadence Bank for
Order
$7.4
submitted.
billion. The deal expected
Order
to close
submitted.
in Q1 of next year and helps Huntington expand its reach across the
Order
southern
submitted.
U.S. to markets including Dallas, Nashville,
Order
and
canceled.
Atlanta. Joining us now in a CNBC exclusive, Huntington Bancshares CEO Steve Steinauer. He
Order
oversees
submitted.
more than 1,000
What?
locations across 14 states. So good to have you today, Steve. Appreciate it. I want to start on cost synergies because that was a big topic of conversation on the call you had with analysts today. It looks like about $365 million pre-tax that's being targeted from this integration. 30% of Cadence is forecasted 2027 non-interest expense. How confident are you you'll be able to get there, and what do you need to do to get it done?
Well, Leslie, good morning. This is a partnership with Dan Rollins, the CEO at Cadence, and the Cadence management team. We've been working on this for 4 months, and we are highly convicted and confident in our ability to achieve the cost savings and the synergies associated with that. This is really well mapped. I've been involved in many dozens of these. None have been as nearly as well mapped as this one is. So we'll make this happen. There are no branch closures, and this is a really important, I think, a transformational step for us. It's a great opportunity to put two really good companies
good
together
trade,
and get something even better
That's
in the future.
nice.
And in the meantime, you're actually putting together 3 companies because you announced a deal to acquire Veritex just a couple months ago. How do you see that integration going, and are you on the prowl for more deals to come?
Well, we closed on Veritex last Monday, and Veritex was a Dallas headquartered bank really a commercial bank, a business bank. Cadence is a Houston headquartered bank in Tupelo, Mississippi, co-headquartered. And Cadence is much more of a community bank. Over 1 million consumer
Are you stuck
customers,
short or something, SK?
150,000 commercial customers. So very, very different. And it fits hand in glove in terms of Dallas, Houston, and the nature of the business that the two banks have done over a good number of years. Cadence is a 150-year-old bank, so they have deep relationships, very sticky deposits, and we're thrilled. They're much more like us, and so we're very confident in putting the two together. We talked to both CEOs openly about this, even at the
Take your
start.
money and run.
They
Take your money and run.
They like each other, so this should work very.
Were you
very well.
red? Were you deep red or
Are you
something?
done, or would you pursue more from here?
Oh, we have a lot on our plate
Nice.
now. We are growing organically faster than all of our peers. We've just had a record.
Wait, it was down $800?
Third quarter in terms of growth. We've
That
been
is
very
deep.
optimistic about the fourth quarter and going into next year, continuing that growth. And now
Well,
we have
how big
two
is the
important
contract? I didn't see
combinations
his.
to make. We're
Let me
gonna
check
be a
his play.
force in Texas. Number 5
What's
share in
his
Dallas,
Tesla?
number
Oh,
5 share in
780.
Houston, 8 overall in the state.
Oh, he played
And we're
expensive
exactly where we
contracts.
want to be in a very large state.
Nice.
That Texplex,
Yeah,
Texaplex
that's a good win.
marketplace. Dallas and Fort Worth North, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. That triangle is where almost where the majority of the economics that occur
Dang.
in Texas.
Yes,
are
cash everything out. Just take the money and run. It's free money.
So we're very excited. We're very focused on integrating these.
Me and
well.
Gambit doubted
And in
pre-loan.
addition to
I'm sorry,
Texas,
pre-loan.
Number 1 share in Mississippi, number 10 share in a number of states. Great new markets: Nashville, Atlanta, Tampa, Orlando. So we have a lot on our plate. That's what we're focused on. Drive
That's a lot of
forward,
eval you can
organic
buy.
growth, and get this completion. Get this completed in very good shape.
What do you think it says about the industry appetite to combine in aggregate,
Yeah.
Stephen?
Well, I think this administration.
That's what people
is
pay
not
Discord
just
for.
banking,
Just
but
follow
but
alerts.
constructive in terms of
Pre-loan's
business and
nice, though.
business
You gotta build it
generation.
for free.
And I think you'll see a bit more combinations in the banking industry, but I don't think there's
You
like
know he's a lawyer, right?
flood of things about to happen. But there's
Mhm.
likely to be more that will.
Yeah,
combine.
yeah. I just can't say it
And
on
in terms
on
of
YouTube,
Texas in
but yeah.
particular, obviously these two deals give you a bigger
Oh,
footprint, as you
he's
were
big
outlining,
baller.
Dallas and Houston. Why the appeal there? Is it as simple as just there's been a huge population migration to
Anything
Texas
happened,
in
I
recent
just ask
years, and
him, hey,
therefore
can you
wanna
help me?
capture that? Or is there something about the regulatory or tax environment in Texas that it is important for you to have a bigger footprint there?
Well, this is all about economic growth. First, we're a Midwest anchored institution. We're very, very large in Ohio and Michigan and the surrounding states. And we've been here for 160 years, so we have deep, multi-generational relationships. But when we think about where is the economic growth occurring at an even faster pace, it's in the South and in Texas. And this combination with Cadence positions us really well in the South and gives us an incredible position to work from in Texas. We're already the #1 SBA lender in Texas. We've been investing in there since 2009. We've got $5 billion of loans. But when we put it all together, we'll be a factor.
Yeah, I was in Dallas last week, and that was the whole ethos was just, bringing more financial jobs to the state, building out a banking system there that rivals New York. So this kind of feeds into that narrative. Stephen, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Great to be with you.
Still ahead, stimulus hopes driving Japan's Nikkei to an all-time high, now doubling the performance of the S&P over the past 3 months. Neuberger Berman has more on how to trade the Japanese market after the break.
Plus, with President Trump in Asia, more details emerging about a possible trade deal with China. A live report from Washington when Money Movers comes back.
Oh, so you corporate types are rock stars?
Well, that's as ridiculous as rock stars being corporate types.
Workday's AI agents are making you all rock stars.
Sorry, habit. Proceed.
So, that's a slide.
It'll come
Any
back
questions?
And now with Workday, we can manage our people and AI agents. I'm sorry. Who are they? Oh, interns.
We're interns.
Good night!
I'll see you tomorrow.
At Franklin Templeton, we're always innovating.
A leader in public and private markets, digital assets, and custom tax management, we're helping advisors build the portfolios of the future today. Franklin Templeton, your trusted partner for what's ahead.
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need? Now you can sell your policy, even a term policy, for an immediate cash payment.
We thought we had planned carefully for our retirement.
But we quickly realized we needed a way to supplement our income.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify to sell your policy. Don't cancel or let your policy lapse without finding out what it's worth. Visit TradeDirect.com to find out if your policy qualifies, or call 1-800-523-6900. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
Order submitted.
The recipe for a long, healthy life? It starts with gently cooking our food to give your dog the nutrients they need without the ultra-processing.
Alright guys, good luck. See you guys tomorrow. We have a My Funded Futures giveaway. Bye.